been wrong with the click of no telling what I do to get my fucking cash on, mash on, rack, market low, get your blast on, fast on my feet, no feds, no chases, no lead, no cases, no bled, no faces, those dead, no traces. You don't wanna try this long patience, headed to the eye, see you ready to die. See man's gonna identify the holes in the hide, but I find a way to end the line. I don't play so win the night, breaks the skin. You can pray your fucking day, but it ain't no way you'll make it in. Take away your faith and friends, family, and what's left for unknown assailants. Lacing the slum steps, I ain't a suspect. I ain't only list, I'm a no-face killer. They don't know I exist. I got my 9mm situation getting rough. Till my cat back, all the jacks once it gets stuck. Cause my blood walking back with my motherfucking off. Same rap, going rack, marking up, get your ass going. 9mm situation getting rough. Till my cat back, all the jacks once it gets stuck. Cause my blood walking back with my
bigger than my head, eh?
same rap, going rack, marking up, get your ass up. Leaving slugs, snuff the mango, fucking strangle, bringing pain from every angle, leaving veins, cutting tangle, leaving snitch on my ankles in the back of my summer house. Don't even got a bounce, cause I'm clear up all the cops pronounced dead on the scene. The scene is clean and seems red. Marble tattoo weapons, the police ain't even seen yet. Now who's next to die? The next to be arrested by the killer with no witness, so nobody can testify. Never arrested by no typo. And to my rivals, the spending game is venom spray. I get no way to survival. I know you ain't gonna try though. Can't reason with the cycle. Get my bones and my pros and pop.
Alright. I just have to double check that I still know how to do that. Coffee time, motherfuckers. You don't even know what I'm talking about, eh? Turn on the news or do I roll the joint first? I don't even know what the fuck's gonna happen today. I know, Friday 13th, all that shit.
Time for traffic and weather together on the way.
Oh, we got perfect timing.
Good evening. This report brought to you by Audi Queensway. And we should be saying bad evening for anybody who's driving because, boy, what a terrible drive. We've got roads all over the place. Still on the westbound Gardner, approaching the 427. It's 3 center lanes now, blocked as you approach that 427 ramp. And we have a jammed up, or a heavy jam up from Royal York over to the 427 now. Continues to pile up behind this problem. Emergency crews on scene. Onto the West QEW, things don't get any better. It's jammed up from Dixie to approaching Erin Mills. At that point, 2 left lanes are still blocked with a serious crash. We've got westbound 403 problems trying to get onto the QEW in Oakville. On that ramp to the QEW in Oakville, the right lane still blocked by crews. The truck had rolled over into the ditch. They're still cleaning up here. West 403 is jammed, approaching Dundas onto the QEW ramp as a result. We still have construction-related problems on the eastbound QEW approaching Burloak over to Bronte. They've blocked off the HOV lane for some kind of construction and did so right in the middle of rush hour. It's jammed up from Appleby over to Bronte. Delays, although easing in that area. Once you get to the Gardner, it's not bad from the 427 over to Park Lawn now, light volume through there, but it's really heavy from Parkside into the long-term construction to Cherry. At that point, the left lane is blocked with a stalled van. Police are now on scene, no tow truck yet, and it's in the middle of the construction, so we only have one lane getting through there. Wow. Also, eastbound 403, the northbound Erin Mills Parkway ramp to the east 403 still blocked for the crash. It's still open for traffic, but you have to cross the Bullnose to get onto the highway because of this collision. And 403 delays eastbound Winston Churchill over to Erin Mills. We have a problem on the westbound 401
I still don't know what a Bullnose is. I meant to look that up the other day.
The left lane blocked for the crash, jammed from the Allen Express to the 400. Award yourself a performance bonus, the 2019 Q7 from 1.98% for 48 months. Plus, receive up to $5,000 in Audi event credit. Now at AudiQueensway.ca. Your next report at 7:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Tonight, temperatures down to 1 degree here in the city. It could be closer to the freezing mark, though, across the north of GTA and higher elevations. So as drizzle makes its way in overnight, it could be a brief freezing drizzle to the north, and then everyone over into rainfall. 8 to 15 millimeters on the way, starting to mix in wet snow late afternoon and into the evening. So watch for slick spots and even a couple of centimeters of accumulation to the north and east. Tomorrow's high 3 degrees. It's going to turn windy Saturday night. Overnight tonight, we're headed down to low of 1 degree.
And right now in downtown Toronto, we've got a partly cloudy sky sitting at 4 degrees, feeling like 1. 680 news time, 7:33.
4, feeling like you got wind chill and the positive temperatures. Hold on. What are you talking
This
about?
time, 10 boards are being targeted, including Halton Region and both boards in York Region. The walkout does not include the Toronto School Board.
With more on how the negotiations between the union and province are going.
Yesterday you said the only board affected was you're not making no sense.
Scott Owens STF President Harvey Bischoff says they have not had a single new proposal from the government in weeks, and it's very disappointing.
Still on the table, are there plans to increase class size, eliminate the caps on any individual class?
About 10 years from now, these people going to be begging for jobs, eh?
The Minister of Education, Stephen Lecce, continues to say the fight is really about compensation. Parliamentary Assistant Dave Piccini says a new 2% salary increase is just too much, and he's urging them to call off another strike.
When both sides agreed to meaningful third-party mediation, we managed to find a voluntary agreement.
And the third Wednesday walkout in 3 weeks, slated to happen only if no progress is made in talks early next week. Again, some schools in York Region, Halton Region affected, but not the Toronto District School Board. Head to 680 News for a full list of who is impacted. Reporting live, I'm Caitlin Lee.
The TTC wants to increase some fares by 10 cents in its proposed 2020 operating budget for the transit service. Today, the proposed fare increase would be effective on March 1st of 2020. Adult cash fares will not change. Tokens would cost 10 cents more, and a monthly pass would spike by nearly $5.
You don't sell tokens.
Also, senior and youth fares would
your machines cannot be programmed to take a token and money at the same time. Why?
$31.4 million through the fare hike.
With my
City
Presto
Council
Pass.
has
I
the
got 3 of
final
these fucking
say.
Presto
The
Passes.
proposed fare changes follow a similar 10-cent increase in 2019.
Storefront businesses worried they'll be hit with another tax hike next year because they're taxed against the rising property values around them, regardless of how much money they bring in. Tina Azani from City News spoke to one owner who's had enough.
Owner Frederick Gesweiler moved Le Select Bistro into a low-rise building on Wellington Street in 2006. As properties around him are converted into condos, assessments of his property's value have gone up more than 500%. Gesweiler says he has no way of accessing that value unless he sells.
We cannot pay.
This is the logic of the government.
It does not exist.
More than 20,000 people have signed a petition he started asking for reform. The province's Municipal Property Assessment Corporation assesses values every 4 years, and the city sets the tax rate. As a stopgap measure, the city capped commercial tax increases to 10% in 2018, but it's not set in stone. Downtown Councillor Kristen Wong-Tam is pushing for a more permanent solution, including a different tax brand for small businesses. So far, that hasn't been adopted. For 680 and City News reporter, Tina Azani.
680 News Time 7:37. A change in the charges being faced by one of the 2 teens accused of the stabbing death of 14-year-old Devin Brachy-Selby. The Hamilton teen was killed outside his high school in October. 680 Charlene Close reports.
A publication ban covers the case, so we're not allowed to share everything that happened in court. We can tell you that the Crown has dropped the first-degree murder charge against the 18-year-old, replacing the single charge with 3 new ones, including assault with a weapon. The young man's 14-year-old brother is still charged with first-degree murder. Police allege he's the one who had the knife. Devin Brachy-Selby was fatally stabbed on October 7th outside Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School. He died in his mother's arms.
I'm looking at my
She says her
sandwich.
son had been bullied.
Cutting open my sandwich. I look up at you. I look back at my sandwich. I just committed an assault with a weapon in Canada. That's not a joke. That's how small that fucking charge is.
Including requiring airlines to see parents.
I know. I'm on the fucking charges right now, bitch.
No extra cost, and compensate flyers for delays and cancellations within an airline's control. The rules rely on travelers filing complaints with airlines or, as a last resort, the Canadian Transportation Agency.
The 2019 NBA champion at Toronto.
If we fuck you over, you have to tell us we fucked you over.
What the fuck is that? The team with its new annual Nation Builder of the Year award. 680's Momin Qureshi is at the Royal York.
The Raptors championship run created a real sense of pride and unity, not only in the team, but in the country, with people in seemingly every city and every town chanting, "We the North."
So when the Empire Club decided to give out its first ever Nation Builder of the Year award, it's hard to argue anyone deserves it more than this team. Raptors president Masai Ujiri says when you play to win, but you win by bringing everyone along with you.
We all go out in fucking miniskirts or something.
And open your minds up to what's going on in the world. It's important because we use sports as our platform. Use your platform to grow.
Really? I thought Canada used fucking the army and the police as their platform.
And coming
These
up in
people
30
fucking come
seconds,
from,
prices
man.
at the pumps are going up at
They ain't
midnight.
fucking from here to talk this
Details
stupid.
coming up, 680 News Time, 7:39.
One rose from the streets of Paris to become an international star. The other was a German aristocrat who became Hollywood's first glamour queen. Their private lives were as theatrical as their public performances. This new musical biography stars Louise Pitt as Edith Piaf and Jane Lewis as Marlene Dietrich. Piaf Dietrich, now playing at the CAA Theater until January 5th. Tickets at mervish.com.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price will rise 1 cent at midnight to $1.15.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Coming up in a minute, we'll take a look at your drive. 680 News Time, 7:40.
Give me a ladder in the fucking center lanes of the 401. Come on.
Is closer than ever with Air Canada flights to Auckland starting this December, so you can escape our winter to the Kiwi summer and discover breathtaking sights and nature. Look now at aircanada.com or contact your travel agent. Right now,
Shout out the Mongrel Mob and Black Power New Zealand.
Get one when you activate 2 lines with the Samsung Galaxy S10 and S10e on select 2-year plans. That means more for you.
Oh wow, 450 arrests made, 247 guns seized. I guess it's a good thing I stayed home today.
You can share when you get them both on a Rogers Infinite plan. Get twice the nice with Samsung BOGO during the Wrapped in Red event on now at Rogers. Looking for epic adventure? New Zealand is closer than ever with Air Canada flights to Auckland starting this December, so you can escape our winter to the Kiwi summer and discover breathtaking sights and nature. Look now at aircanada.com or contact your travel agent.
City News Time, 7:40.
Please, oh, for fuck's sakes, man. You loaded the entire non-JavaScript page and then replaced it.
We've had a couple of problems clear, thankfully. But still, especially if you're on the Gardner right now, you're into some really heavy delays. We've got eastbound QEW construction, first of all, approaching Burloak to Bronte. They closed the HOV lane just before 5 o'clock this afternoon. Traffic spotter called in to report that overhead signs say this construction is going to be in place until Monday morning at 5 a.m. Appreciate the info. That was not reported to us, but it's heavy through this construction.
Don't tell the news, just tell the drivers.
We'll be over to Bronte heading through it. Away on the eastbound Gardner, this is heavy. Boy,
so the drivers get mad at the news for not knowing, get it?
Approaching Cherry, the left lane is blocked with a stalled vehicle in the middle of the long-term construction zone. Only a single lane getting through at Cherry. Only police are on scene, and the delay is from the Humber Bridge all the way to Cherry. It is just solid through this stretch. A public service announcement, if you're traveling east on the Gardner, make sure you get off at that Lakeshore ramp and park lot at the very latest. Do not sit in this Gardner delay. It's awful right now crossing the Humber Bay into downtown. Lakeshore isn't much better when you get to the exhibition grounds, but it's much better between about the Humber Bay and the X grounds. Way better than the Gardner through there, at least. If you're traveling the other direction, westbound Gardner problems have cleared at the 427. We're just left with volume now. DVP to Jarvis through the construction, and then from Royal York over to the 427. It's improving quickly, though. Westbound QEW issues approaching Erin Mills Parkway. Those have also cleared. They cleared just a moment after my last report, so it's improving already now. It's heavy from Cawthra to Mississauga Road, and through that, you're past the worst of it. We've got on the westbound 401, those problems approaching the 400 Express, now having cleared as well. Still backed up from the Allen in the Express. Pearlvision knows your time is valuable, so they direct bill most insurance plans. Arrange your eye exam at pearlvision.ca or visit any of their neighborhood locations.
There's a bar called
Pearlvision. 7:51, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Tonight's low down to 1 degree. Drizzle overnight, switching over to rain, 8 to 15 millimeters. Just watch for some brief freezing drizzle, though, overnight up over those higher elevations. And as we get on the backside of this system, Saturday afternoon and evening, colder air means we'll switch over to some wet snow. I think downtown may stay as straight rainfall, but watch the north and east ends of the city for a few seconds of slushy accumulation. The high tomorrow, 3 degrees. Tomorrow night is very gusty out of the northwest. And then Sunday, gusty northwest winds continue with lake effect snow possible, especially again north and east GTA, the traditional snow belts. Watch for driving through sun and then sudden whiteout conditions at times through the day. Sunday's temperature 0 falling to -3, wind chill -10. Tonight we're down to a low of 1 degree.
Right now downtown 4 degrees, feeling like a 1 degree. We have a partly cloudy sky. Up at Pearson Airport 2 degrees and mostly cloudy. 680 news time 7:44.
At Lowe's, we have everything you need for your renos for less.
My dream kitchen has a stainless steel sink with a touchless faucet, a 6-burner stove, and a robot chef who cooks for my in-laws when they show up unannounced.
Well, just about everything. From Friday to Monday at Lowe's, save 15 to 20% when you spend $100 or more.
Over 450 arrests made, 247 guns seized in Project Community Space. It's posted today at 1:31. Toronto police say they arrested 463 people, laid over 1,100 charges, and seized just under 250 firearms during a 15-week initiative to address gun violence in Toronto. That takes us back to the beginning of September. Project Community Space. Holy shit. Project Community Space increased police visibility in high-risk areas and focused the officers on making arrests, enforcing bail, and getting guns off the streets. Each level, when they say enforcing bail, they mean looking for you to be doing something wrong with no probable cause. And getting guns off the streets, quote unquote, is that's what the white people are saying. So the cops have to go beat up black people and shit because they all have guns, right? Not like the Hells Angels, the Mafia, and the natives don't have guns, right? Everybody else too. Those are the ones that pop to mind. Each level of government provided $1.5 million towards the initiative that took place during the summer. Hold on, that includes the city? Where'd the city get $1.5 million, bro? Toronto Police Superintendent Steve Watts called the project, quote, successful, end quote, and said the specialized approach, how is it specialized? And said the specialized approach allowed them to take 247 guns, quote, off the streets and out of reach of those who sue them for criminal activity, end quote. I think they meant use them, but this company is notorious for typos. And it was updated 90 minutes later, so I don't know what the excuse is. Of the 1,145 charges laid, 317 were firearms related. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. 1145 and 317, right? Okay, I did that backwards. So like 1/3, 1/4 of the charge. That's not that many of the charges, bro. Especially when you hear the rest of this. So of the 1,145 charges laid, 317 were firearms related. Bail compliance was also a large part of the initiative. And 97 of those arrested during the project were out on bail for firearm related charges, 16 of which are now facing new firearm offenses. So that's like 1/4 or 1/5 of the people. And then 16 out of 450, that's like not much, man. That's like 3% or something. 16 of which are now facing new firearm offenses. Officers also worked in, I don't know what this is supposed to mean. It says communicates. I don't know. It says officers, oh, it must mean communities. Communities. I'm going to say communities. Officers also worked in communities, I think, and made 89 referrals to people looking for help, including to the gang exit program, youth diversion program, and focus tables. I don't know what any of those are. They've never told me any of this shit, so I don't even know if that exists. Also, do you want me to tell my friends about the gang exit program? I probably would, but I never heard of it. Also, as a result of the initiative, TPS is implementing new shift schedules that will allow officers to respond quicker to calls, increase community safety and engagement activities, and increase proactive policing and enforcement. New shift schedules? What do you mean? You're going to have more officers working this? You're going to change the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. thing? There's a reason all sorts of shit happens at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. There's a reason. It will be funded by the reallocation of existing funds. Oh, good. Where are you taking them from? Police Chief Mark Saunders is expected to announce more details at a later date. What are we on? 3 or 4 typos? On an updated article. I know when you do it first, I get it. But this is an updated article. It was updated fucking 6 hours ago or some shit. Moving forward as a service and with support. And the reason it pissed me off, so it's not a pet peeve. I used to do proofreading. I really used to do proofreading and quite a bit of ghostwriting. But the point was to just get the fucking newspaper published. It didn't matter whose name was on it. Quote, moving forward as a service and with support of our partners, we are developing a sustainable and more robust strategy to address gun violence with an approach that is proactive, preventative. Thank you, you spelled it right. Preventative and response focused to keep our communities safe, said Watts. The Integrated Gun and Gang Task Force also hosted 17 gang prevention town halls. Really? And 14 more will be held in December and in 2020. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm fucking accused of fucking... I get accused of so much gang-related shit. All my friends are gang members, blah, 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 but you don't even tell me about this shit, man. I don't know if my nose is actually running or if it just looks like it is. Gang prevention town halls. I never even heard of that shit, man. As of December 8th, there have been 457 shootings with 699 victims in 2019, an increase of 68 incidents with 150 more victims over last year. Yeah, so what's happening is there are more shootings. More of the shootings, multiple people are getting hit. So it used to be usually one person. Now it's usually 2 people getting hit. So now, as for if they're all intended targets, I couldn't tell you. Neither can the cops. But let's see, December 8th was a Sunday. That was just this week, eh? Well, I'm sure we're over 700 by now. And then when you add up all, that's just the end of it right there. Well, you add up the rest of the GTA.
Don't let cold and flu season give you the holiday blues.
Okay, somebody's clock is not on the right time.
If you do get sick, use Benylin and Tylenol products to relieve your worst cold or flu symptoms like fever or cough.
What the fuck is Tylenol gonna do for me? Benylin. They say my sickle cell is allergies. The allergy medication, I gotta buy it. They can't just prescribe, like, pay for it.
751.
Look at the drive. Here's Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by Shell. We still have a couple of really heavy spots. Most notably the eastbound Gardner. As you approach Cherry, the left lane is blocked. So right at the eastern end of the Gardner, the left lane is blocked with a stalled van. Toronto police on scene. Hey, we just got a tow truck arrive on scene. Thank goodness they need to get this van off the highway.
Is he shooting?
Because it is absolutely
if there's 2, it could be a problem.
Gardner from the Humber Bridge to approaching Cherry, hardly moving at all as you just try to get into downtown. If you want to take the Lakeshore, that's certainly a better option for you. You can exit the East Gardner, the Lakeshore ramp at Parkland, do so there at the very latest. And then beyond there, it's not bad until you get to about Strawn. It's heavy from Strawn over to Spadina and beyond into the downtown core. We've got volume if you're traveling the westbound 403, and it's because of a ramp issue. West 403 ramp to the QEW in Oakville. The right lane is still blocked on that ramp with ongoing cleanup of an earlier truck rollover, so it is heavy from approaching Dundas onto the QEW ramp. QEW itself, not bad. Minor delays through Mississauga. Everything stretching out after that Erin Mills Parkway issue cleared. So you may still find you're hitting the brakes a couple of times through Mississauga, but it's not in too bad a shape. The northbound Erin Mills Parkway ramp to the eastbound 403 now cleared of an earlier collision. The speeds on the highway itself through this area have improved now that there's no longer visual distraction. On the eastbound 401, leftover volume approaching Mississauga Road to Huron, Ontario. Young Express, Bayview Collectors to Leslie, and approaching Warden to Kennedy in the Collectors. So only really heavy spot on the west 401 is into Mississauga, approaching Huron, Ontario in the Collectors to west of Mavis. Outside of that, it's not bad. North DVP still a bit backed up. Lawrence to York Mills. Southbound DVP is heavy. Bloor down to the Gardner, and the West Gardner is busy through the long-term construction. DVP over to Jarvis, and it gets busy again. Royal York to the 427 because of earlier problems. It's simple to get 50 air miles bonus miles. Just fuel up 4 times with any Shell fuel, only until December 27th. Details at shell.ca/air miles with fuel. Your next report at 8:01 with the extended forecast. Here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Drizzle switching to rain for Saturday, 8 to 15 millimeters, and winds start picking up out of the northwest. We'll be gusting 60 to 70 kilometers per hour by Saturday night. Now, the high is 3 degrees in the afternoon, but as we start to fall late in the day, temperature-wise, we'll start mixing in some wet snow, and especially keeping an eye on the north and east ends of the GTA for a few centimeters of accumulation. That will end Saturday night, and then Sunday, lake effect snow possible. So it'll be sun and then flurries heavy at times. And again, it's going to be north and east ends of the city watching for the greatest risk for that lake effect snow. Still gusty out of the northwest. Temperatures falling from 0 down to -3. Monday, overcast to start. Could see some snow late in the day, which could impact that drive home. A couple of models still have this system missing us, but again, potentially some snow late day Monday.
See, they don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of 1 degree.
Right now in downtown Toronto, a partly cloudy sky at 4 degrees, 2 degrees at Pearson Airport.
This extended forecast is brought to you by the Grand Hotel. Book your next meeting, event, or stay at the luxurious Grand Hotel Toronto and receive Aeroplan miles. Visit grandhoteltoronto.com because life is grand.
Hi, I'm Adam, founder of newborrow.com, and I started our company after I got fed up with the mortgage loan process. Turns out I wasn't alone. Thousands of homeowners wanted help.
They went above and beyond to help me get a line of credit. It was amazing service.
They treated me like a valued client and outperformed anyone I spoke to. Want to lower your mortgage payments and save a little money?
Use your home to get a loan with Newborrow. Visit newborrow.com. License code 3115.
This holiday season, everyone has what it takes to be a holiday hero.
Join 680 News in supporting more than 4,000 local families with the York
I'm glad I got more weird because they got some fucked up stories today.
Or gift cards at any York Regional Police facility to support families and children of victim services and the Salvation Army.
Coffee time is anytime.
680 News and families in need, thank you for your support.
For details or to donate monitor,
wow,
visit 680 News.
The pole didn't even fall down. What the fuck is wrong with that? Yo, I ain't buying no BMW.
F-150, we are in it.
Cars will broke up. The pole is just fine. That's fucked up.
Insurance, maintenance, fuel.
No problem. It just won an award for lowest cost to own in its class, 5th year in a row.
Wow, sounds like you really love your truck.
Yeah.
Get the Ford F-150, the truck with the Vincentric Award for lowest cost to own in its class. Now during the Ford year-end event, get up to $10,500 in rebates on select new 2019 F-150 models. Get the truck that's built for the long haul. Visit your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
From finger painting to times tables, school's the start of a journey that can take kids anywhere. Our education system needs to evolve to reflect this journey, to prepare kids for the future, their future. So we're updating it to give kids the tools they need to support positive mental health, develop real-life skills, and prepare for what's next. So they're ready to rise to every test, during school and after. Learn how the government is improving your child's educational journey at ontario.ca/education for tomorrow. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Good evening, happy Friday. Prime Minister Trudeau has reportedly asked his finance minister, Bill Morneau, to take another look at the mortgage stress test rules. This according to the Financial Post. Reviewing the tests, which by the way have been criticized.
The people buying all these buildings is driving up the prices. It's not
the promises made by the Liberals
borrowing money.
Election campaign. The real estate
industry paying for it with checks out the casino.
Arguing that they don't account for an uptick in interest rates. Of course, the Liberals would need support from other parties to pass any change to the legislation. All right, meantime, here in North America, we don't always put our executives in jail when they've done something wrong. Sometimes they get a promotion, but that's certainly not the case in South Korea, as we hear from TD Bank's Anthony Agoli.
In another case, certainly, Samsung vice president received a jail term in South Korea over union busting, and a VP at Samsung was sentenced to a 16-month jail term in South Korea. He's accused accused of attempting to break up a labor union, according to local reports.
You go to jail for that? I didn't know that.
Surveilling union members and their families illegally and collecting personal information on them. And overall trade union participation rate in South Korea is about 10%, which is similar to the U.S., but among the lowest among the democratic free market countries. So interesting news today.
Right out to the markets where the TSX enjoyed a winning Friday and a winning week. And Bay Street benchmark was up 56 points today, 17,003. Royal Bank and Bank of Montreal both gained $1 and a record finish for CP Rail, about $331. Price of gold up to $1,480 the ounce. On Wall Street, the Dow gaining just 3 points to 28,135. S&P up 1, Nasdaq up 17, and the Canadian dollar up to 75.95 cents US. This is 680 News.
At Rogers, get business-grade wireless solutions like iPhone XR 64 gig, now $0 on a 3-year business share plan. Visit Rogers.com/plans-for-biz.
You can make more.
Giving someone a CAA gift membership for the holidays is kind of like saying,
Happy battery boost for when your car doesn't start.
wishing you peace, joy, and lots of restaurant savings.
Merry quick help with that flat tire.
Say happy holidays with a CAA gift membership and give peace of mind with 24/7 roadside assistance across North America, plus great savings on shopping, dining, and more. Buy a gift membership by January 5th.
Man, reading all this shit, I should have fucking waited a minute to light that jar. I want to light another one, but the first one's still kicking in. But not everything I read out loud. Shit, I'm reading it.
Get business-grade wireless solutions.
I'll get to that in a minute.
iPhone XR 64 gig, now $0 on a 3-year business share plan. Visit Rogers.com/plans-for-biz.
You can make more.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Shoppers Drug Mart. Got PC Optimum points? Now's the time to redeem them. It's the bonus redemption event at Shoppers Drug Mart. Get more for your points now until December 16th.
In Hamilton, 2 degrees, partly cloudy sky. Oshawa, 3 degrees, mostly cloudy. Oshawa, 2 degrees with some light rain there. 680 News time, 8 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie.
Good evening. This is Friday, December 13th.
Here's what's making news this hour. Ontario secondary school teachers planning yet another one-day walkout next week.
Frustrating, disappointing.
The union and the government still disagreeing over what the real contract sticking points are.
You
don't even know what you're arguing about.
Could be on its way up in
Jesus
2020.
Christ,
Proposed
man.
a fair hike in the works.
The Crown drops the first-degree murder charge against one of 2 teens accused of killing a 14-year-old boy in Hamilton. Devin Brackey Selby was stabbed to death outside his school in October.
We the North, indeed. The Raptors marked their championship year by being named the Empire Club's first ever Nation Builder of the Year.
First ever
But it's a light night in the
of the
NHL.
year.
While the
It's like
president's
first
come on
ever
to go
annual,
down under
first,
sports
I'm having my first centennial birthday party
Perhaps
this year.
inside the Vatican. We'll let you know what the Wall Street Journal is reporting about the Catholic Church. TSX up 56 points, capping off a winning week for Bay Street. Business at 27.
Time 8:01.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. First up, the traffic center with Mr. Kyle Hawking.
And this report brought to you by Viva Next. It's a much
Ladder
better
on
drive now than it
401.
was an hour ago. However, we are still seeing a really heavy drive on the eastbound Gardner. It's because of this problem approaching Cherry, right at the eastern end of the Gardner. The left lane is blocked with a stalled van. Tow truck on scene. It's being hooked up right now, and it should be out of here in the next couple of minutes, and hopefully sooner, because it is just jammed on the eastbound Gardner from the Humber Bridge, just east of the Humber Bridge, in fact, to approaching Cherry into the long-term construction zone. One of the reasons it's so heavy is because it's in that construction zone, and only the right lane is getting through. You can take the Lakeshore as an alternate. It's improved heading into downtown. You won't get any major delays until you get east of Strawn over towards Spadina. We've got volume delays just fairly light by comparison in all other areas. The westbound 403 still seeing a heavy delay onto the QEW ramp in Oakville. The right lane is still blocked on that ramp with a truck rollover cleanup that's been ongoing for much of the afternoon, but crews are starting to move slowly down the ramp. So I think they may just be towing away this vehicle finally, heavy from about Dundas onto that QEW ramp. So
I can't help it. Every time they say tow, I think gun.
From
What
Huron,
the fuck?
Ontario, and the collectors to west of Mavis. Eastbound's also busy through Mississauga from Mississauga Road to Huron, Ontario. And then Foley Baby to Leslie Express and Collectors. No major delays either direction now on the DVP. And we've got westbound Garda that's in fairly decent shape. It's just busy through the long-term construction zone. It's the season of giving in Richmond Hill and Newmarket, and your local shops and businesses can help you find what you're looking for. Stop, shop, and dine on Yonge Street, Richmond Hill, and Newmarket. Visit vivanext.com. Your next report at 8:11, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahide.
Drizzle overnight tonight here in the GTA, although slight risk of freezing drizzle up over higher elevations to the north, and then that'll turn into straight up rainfall Saturday, 8 to 15 millimeters. Staying mainly as rain downtown, but we'll likely start mixing in some wet snow through the late afternoon and into the evening. Even a couple of centimeters of slushy accumulation possible north and east. You know who you are, York Durham. 3 degrees the daytime high. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of 1 degree.
And right now, downtown Toronto, 4 degrees with a partly cloudy sky. 680 news time, 8:04.
With no end in sight at the bargaining table, Ontario high school teachers will once again head back to the picket line for the third Wednesday in a row.
With more on the often combative talks between the province and its educators. We're joined live by 680's Caitlin Lee. Caitlin.
Christine, it will be the third walkout in 3 weeks. It will happen if contracts.
Now that you can say is a weekly thing.
Wednesday, OSSTF President Harvey Bischoff says so far there's been no change on what they say are the key issues: e-learning, class sizes, and other funding cuts. But Education Minister Stephen Lecce keeps saying the real demand the province isn't budging on is compensation. I spoke to Parliamentary Assistant David Pacini.
Their work was in order, but again, I cannot justify to the hard-earning taxpayers of our riding, people who get up day in, day out, who punch in and out, that $1.5 billion taxpayer-funded increase is justified.
Bischoff says this is all getting them further away from reaching a deal.
It's absolutely disheartening to have a Minister of Education discredit my members' commitment to the students that they serve every single day. He's clearly trying to distract from quality of education issues.
10 school boards plan to take part Wednesday, including Halton Public and York Public and Catholic boards. Employees at several French language schools also planning to strike as they're members of the OSSTF. A full list of who is impacted can be found at 680news.com. Reporting live, I'm Caitlin Lee.
The TTC wants to hike some fares by 10 cents as a way to raise more than $31 million. In a report released earlier today, the proposed fare increase would come into effect March 1st of next year.
It's coming right off your Presto card. You can't even fucking argue with it.
10 cents more, and a monthly pass would go up by about $5. Also, senior and youth Presto fares would increase by 10 cents. The proposed changes following a similar 10-cent hike in 2019.
Toronto Police showing off the promising results of Project Community Space today, the 15-week initiative meant to help curb gun violence in the city. 680's Mark Douglas joins us from police headquarters with the details.
The shootings increased, so we had to adapt to that.
This was a 15-week blitz of intelligence-based policing in high-risk neighborhoods. It had everything from higher police visibility to gang prevention town hall meetings. Superintendent Steve Watts says despite a peak in gun violence in Toronto,
nobody told the gang members there were gang exit programs.
Our response was successful. I can speak to the solve rates of the shootings that occurred during that time frame were significantly higher than prior.
About 250 guns taken off the streets, about 450 people arrested, and of those, about 100 suspects were already out on bail on a firearm offense outside police headquarters on Mark Douglas.
Jesus fucking
680 News Time 8:07. This news segment brought to you by Alpine Credits. A murder charge has been dropped against one of 2 teens accused of killing a 14-year-old Hamilton boy in October. But as we hear from 680's Charlene Close, it doesn't mean he's in the clear.
Devin Brackey-Selby was stabbed to death in early October over the noon hour outside Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School.
Supposedly by the other kid.
It happen. Police arrested 18 and 14-year-old brothers shortly after Devin was killed, but said at the time they thought the 14-year-old was the one with the knife. The Crown has withdrawn the first-degree murder charge against the 18-year-old. He now faces new charges of assault with a weapon, administering a noxious substance, and possession of a prohibited weapon. I'm Charlene Close. The Toronto Raptors are Canada's champs, and that's why the team was honored earlier today at the Empire Club with a first-of-its-kind award. 680's Mama Qureshi was there.
The Raptors slogan is "We the North," and that was more evident than ever during this year's championship run, with the country embracing the team. So it makes perfect sense that the Empire Club of Canada would name the Raptors as its first ever Nation Builder of the Year. Team President Masai Ujiri says when you play to win.
They all got tattoos, they got a slogan, now they're a nation. Wow.
You bring youth along, you bring women along, you bring young girls along. We move our egos aside and become bigger.
That sounded creepy.
We in Canada have to teach the rest of the world. And starting from here, we have to be bigger.
At the Carlu, I'm Momin Qureshi.
You're with All News Radio 680 News at 8.
I don't know if it was me. I wouldn't have also included bring young girls. So I would have left that out. That sounded a little weird.
Goalie was rushed to hospital after a freak incident on the ice. Lindsay Dunn from City News spoke with the team's coach on the player's road to recovery. Here goes Gruden.
During Thursday night's game, a London Knights player collided with Ice Dogs goalie Tucker Tynan 40 seconds into the second period. He had to be taken off the ice in a stretcher and was taken to hospital where he had to get emergency surgery.
He's stable now, thankfully. It's no longer considered life-threatening, which obviously is by far the most important thing. There was a point in time last night where it was an option that he may have died on the ice due to loss of blood.
Although it was a frightening and scary incident, the team doesn't believe it was because of a lack of equipment or safety precautions.
The OHL, along with the Niagara Ice Dogs, have announced that they've postponed their games this weekend that were against Peterborough and Ottawa. Lindsay Dunn, City News.
Oh, now I gotta find that one. I gotta find that video.
I own my own homogenized liter of milk.
Weird.
And my home. And I need a foot massage.
Not approved.
And to borrow money.
Approved.
For Bill.
Approved.
And a foot massager. Do you have strong hands?
At Alpine Credits, we try to approve all home equity loan applications, regardless of your credit, age, or income. Find out more at alpinecredits.ca. Alpine Credits. Homeowners get approved. Fiscal license 12616 and 12617.
Now the 680 News gas price update and pro predicting the price of gas will go up 1 cent at midnight to $1.15.9 a liter.
680 News Time 8:10.
At Rogers, get business-grade internet solutions like Rogers Business Internet Pro Gigabit plus Office 365. Now just $119.99 a month on a 3-year term. Visit rogers.com/internet for biz.
You can make mine.
Okay, stop. For the best appliance deal ever, come into Gomez today. You'll save up to 25% on all Eco appliances. Yep, that's 25% off on top of manufacturer rebates and promotions. Pricing on most Bosch dishwashers are lower than, well, they've ever been. Energy savings rebate by the Government of Canada. Visit Gomez.com for details.
At Rogers, get business-grade internet solutions like Rogers Business Internet Pro Gigabit plus Office 365. Now just $119.99 a month on a 3-year term. Visit rogers.com/internet for biz.
You can make mine.
Traffic and weather together on the ones at the traffic center. Kyle Hawking.
News report brought to you by Shoppers Drug Mart. We just had problems on the eastbound Gardner approaching Cherry Clearway. That's still been finally towed off the highway. It is still very slow from east of the Humber Bridge to approaching Cherry, right at the eastern end of the Gardner. If you want to take the Lakeshore as an alternate, good idea. You can get off at the Lakeshore ramp at Park Lawn and then take the Lakeshore the rest of the way into downtown. You won't hit any major delays until you get to just about Bathurst. It's bunched up approaching Bathurst over to Spadina. Not bad through there. That's really the only delay on the eastbound Lakeshore of any substance. So the Lakeshore way better than the Gardner right now.
Substance,
We've
what?
got minor volume on the westbound Gardner just as you come off the DVP over to Jarvis through the long-term construction zone and lane restrictions. Looks like we just had a brief problem on the westbound QEW. Looks busy from here, Ontario, over to Mississauga Road. Things starting to move a little bit better, and I haven't been able to spot anything on camera. So it looks like whatever problem was there has just recently cleared. If you're traveling the westbound 403, good news here. The ramp to the QEW into Oakville has cleared of that long-standing truck rollover cleanup, so it's still heavy from approaching Dundas onto the QEW ramp, but things should start to improve. Now the QEW, in fact, is starting to slow a little bit with merging traffic, so it's busy by the Ford plant as well as all that 403 volume comes in. On the westbound 401, the only heavy section is In Mississauga, Hurontario on the collectors to west of Mavis. Similarly busy on the eastbound 401 through here from Mississauga Road to Hurontario. And then it's a bit backed up from Baby to Leslie Expressway and collectors, but not too bad through there. No major volume spots on the Don Valley Parkway. And we have a little bit of construction being set up northbound 400 approaching Teston Road. You'll get the left lane just being blocked up for construction, so bunching up there as well. Got PC Optimum points. Now's the time to redeem them. It's the last redemption event at Shoppers Drug Mart. Get more for your points now until December 16th. Your next report at 8:21, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
1 degree overnight tonight. We've got some drizzle changing to rain here in the city, but could see some brief freezing drizzle overnight. It's 8 to 15 millimeters, so pretty much an all-day rain. A good soaker with a high of 3 degrees. But watch as temperatures drop late Saturday for wet snow starting to mix in. It's going to impact visibility, travel out on the roadways for Saturday evening, even a couple of centimeters of accumulation to the north and east. And then Saturday night, very windy out of the northwest, up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. Sunday, not much better, mainly cloudy, even though we'll see a few more peaks of sunshine. It's that gusty northwest wind and dropping temperatures, 0 falling to -3. That's going to bring in some lake effect snow on and off through the city. Traditional snow belts watch for potentially some snow squalls developing. Tonight, we're down to a low of 1 degree.
And right now, 4 degrees in downtown Toronto, partly cloudy sky. Up
What
Pearson
part
Airport, 3 degrees there.
of Ontario is not part of a traditional snow belt?
Looking for the best winter vacation deals? Save big with redtag.ca on destinations in the Caribbean, Mexico, or even Europe. Plus, enjoy savings on cruise getaways. Book your trip now and pay for it using our monthly payment plan. And get air miles, reward miles on vacation packages. More travel, more savings. Plan your winter getaway today. Some restrictions apply. redtag.ca.
Devastating wildfires in Fort McMurray. Extreme flooding in Ottawa. An empty kitchen table at Christmas. We'll be there because everyone needs an army. Donate this holiday season at SalvationArmy.ca.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
In the sports next.
Partly cloudy sky in downtown Toronto, currently sitting at 4 degrees. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Scott Burnett.
And I'm Christine Ritchie. Here are the top stories this hour.
Third time's a charm. Another one-day walk-off by public high school teachers planned for next Wednesday, December 18th. This time, 10 school boards taking part, including York Public and Catholic school boards, as well as Halton Region. The TDSB not taking part this time. The cost to hop on the TDC could be going up next year. Both fare hikes would see adult Presto fares cost 10 cents more, and a monthly pass would go up by about $5, while senior and youth Presto fares would also increase by 10 cents. Coming up after sports, Toronto police arresting a man for allegedly taking photos of women without their knowledge. Time for 680 Sports and from Sportsnet 5. The Maple Leafs have the night off before they wrap up their Western Canadian road trip in Edmonton tomorrow night against the Oilers. It'll be Freddie Anderson in goal. You won't see Nick Patan in the lineup. He was sent down to the Marlies, probably clearing the way for Trevor Moore to be back in the lineup. Light night on the NHL. They're about to drop the puck in Dallas between the Stars and Golden Knights, 9 o'clock, Avalanche and Devils from Denver. Raptors have the night off. They host Brooklyn tomorrow. We have a game on the go right now in South Bend. Sportsnet 1. The Heat lead the Lakers here by 11 with about 6 minutes to go before halftime. Let's get you caught up on what is going on right now at the President's Cup. The Internationals lead the Americans 8.5 to 4.5. Just one match left in the day 3 4-ball, and they're even between Tony Finau, Matt Kuchar, and Benoit Nan and Adam Scott. And the Mississauga Steelheads in action tonight against North Bay. They're tied up at 1s late in the second period down at the Paramount Fine Food Center. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime in the home in Timmins, now on radio and TV. Sportsnet 590 The Fan. 680 News Time, 8:17.
Smart people
with smart speakers
always listen to
Alexa, play 680 News.
Playing 680 News.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, tack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're Two Men in a Truck. 2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Need window inspiration? Then you need to speak to the experts. Hi, I'm Tom Rokicki of Inline Fiberglass Windows and Doors. Our window experts are experienced in working with architects, builders, and homeowners to ensure your vision becomes a reality. So whether you're replacing your old windows or building your dream home, dream the dream with Inline Fiberglass. If you can dream it, we can build it. Visit our Factory Direct showroom, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or inlinefiberglass.com.
It's at News Time 8:18.
Toronto police arresting a man for allegedly taking photos of women without their knowledge. The photos all taken at the office of tech company Scalar Decisions between 2016 and 2019. They say 47-year-old Michael Rustum was arrested yesterday, charged with 8 counts of voyeurism as well as mischief. Investigators believe there could be more victims. Anyone with information has to contact police or Crime Stoppers. South of the border, the Supreme Court are agreeing, to hear U.S. President Donald Trump's attempts to keep his financial records private.
The justices agreed to hear all 3 of President Trump's challenges to subpoenas from 2 House committees and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which is seeking the president's tax returns as part of an investigation into hush payments to women who alleged affairs. The House Oversight Committee wants them for the same reason, and the Financial Services Committee wants his records to investigate Russian money laundering and potential foreign influence. Oral arguments are scheduled for March, with a decision in June, smack in the middle of a presidential campaign. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Well, hundreds of protesters marched through central London today to protest against Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Conservative Party winning a landslide election victory. Chanted slogans such as "Defy Tory rule" and "Boris Johnson, not my Prime Minister." Protesters blocking traffic and walking from 10 Downing Street to
fucking reason this shit won't go where I'm telling it to go.
Over the divisions that have split the UK since Britain's voted to leave the European Union. 680 News Time 8:19. Ford issuing a vast recall of pickup trucks across North America.
Ford is recalling certain 2017 through 19 Super Duty, Super Crew pickups with carpet flooring because that carpet can catch fire after a crash. The problem involves a seatbelt pretensioner, the mechanism that locks down the seatbelt in the crash. When it deploys, Ford says it can generate sparks and ignite the carpet and then spread. Ford says there has been one fire. Nobody has been injured. Ford says dealers will fix the issue. Alex Stone, EBC News.
How the fuck does that even happen?
Right now at Rogers, you can
And why would you be a carpet in a truck?
You activate 2 lines with the Samsung Galaxy S10 and S10e on select 2-year plans.
The fucking seatbelt kills you. That's great, right?
Greatest BOGO yet. More perfect holiday
I'd rather get the broken neck and die quick than burn to death, man.
When you get them both on a Rogers Infinite plan. Get twice the nice with Samsung BOGO during the Wrapped in Red event on now at Rogers.
Love your music, love your headphones. And at Big Blue Radio, you get to try them on.
Big Blue Radio's got the best of the best. From Bose, Bowers & Wilkins, Sennheiser, and Sony.
In-ear, over-ear, noise canceling, and true wireless. From $50 to over $1,000.
Try them on with your own music. And let our headphone experts help you choose the right ones.
There's only one Bay Bluer Radio. The right sound for the right price.
Traffic and weather together on the one. Skywalking.
This report brought to you by 407 ETR. We have a new problem on the eastbound 401. It's the collector ramp to the 400 in Black Creek Drive, partially blocked with a collision on the right-hand side, so you can squeeze around it. Just have to sort of use the bullnose as you get around this collision. As jamming things up on the East 401 from Weston in the collectors mainly. Express lane's in pretty good shape through here, but it's from Weston in the collectors over the collector ramp to the 400 in Black Creek, where it's partially blocked with this collision. Tows are on scene there. Outside of that, the East 401 is busy Mississauga Road to Huron, Ontario. Then that delay west into the 400 collectors and busy Bayview to Leslie Express and collectors. We have very heavy drives still on the eastbound Gardner. This is by far the heaviest route right now. Still jammed approaching Jameson over to Cherry, heading into the long-term construction. Stalled vehicle in that construction zone towed away, but the delay is still in the process of thinning out. We've got westbound Gardner that's up to speed. Westbound QEW just a bit busy by the Ford plant, and West 403 is also busy coming onto that QEW ramp in the same area. It's all because of an earlier problem we had. Now that it cleared, all that delays that was caught behind the problem stretching out a little bit, so it's just in the process of easing there. On the Don Valley Parkway, north and southbound, in pretty good shape right now. The only other delay, in fact, is northbound 400. Remember in the last report when I said it was the left lane block? It's actually the right lane north of Major Mackenzie. Right lane blocked for maintenance here, so it's jamming up approaching Major Mac up towards Teston Road. The reason I said it was the left lane is because southbound 400 through Teston, we do have the left lane blocked for construction. This construction spot, though, not causing a delay. With 24/7 monitoring of 407 ETR's road conditions and crews on standby, you don't have to give up your safe and reliable drive this winter on 407 ETR. Your next report at 8:31, and with the extended forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Weekend on tap with drizzle tonight, even brief freezing drizzle up over the escarpment. And that'll switch over to 8 to 15 millimeters of rainfall throughout the day on Saturday, but then mixing in wet snow late in the day, even a couple of centimeters possible to the north and east end of the GTA by Saturday evening. 3 degrees the high, a windy Saturday night. Temperatures on Sunday will be falling from 0 down to -3, wind chill -10. That's going to be cold enough that those gusty northwest winds could drive in some lake effect flurries, heavy at times throughout the day, also mixing in with some sunshine. Monday morning's commute should be okay, dry and cloudy, but we are keeping a close eye on another system that could start through that drive home Monday and continue Monday night with snow, the high -1. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of 1 degree.
And we're sitting at 4 degrees right now in downtown Toronto under a partly cloudy sky. At the Pearson Airport, 3 degrees and mostly cloudy.
680 News Time, 824.
OFX are global money transfer specialists, reimagining how the world moves money. OFX has the expertise to support everything from businesses processing international payments to individuals purchasing property abroad or sending money to family back home. It's all backed with 24/7 human support and competitive rates. Keep more of your money as it travels around the world. More at OFX.com. Is how the world moves money.
At 680 News, we know weather.
And we guarantee it.
If we're off by more than 3 degrees, we'll announce a lucky winner of our growing cash jackpot.
Now, get more chances to win each month and vacation better with Sunwing.
Enter in December for your chance to win an all-inclusive vacation for 2 at the Grand Memories Splash and Punta Cana.
How long is this already?
Near Navarro Beach with one of the largest water parks. You can enjoy excitement and relaxation with 24-hour room service and 7 enormous water slides.
The 680 News weather guarantee with Sunwing at the Grand Memories Splash
at 680news.com.
All Christmas news in 60 seconds.
Hey, Dad, I'm just reading here that the flu can be pretty serious for seniors.
Good thing I got a flu shot. High dose, actually. It's 44% more effective than Fluzone standard dose. Your senior dad stays on top of things.
Trendsetter.
High Dose is now covered in Ontario and free for adults 65 plus. Get the High Dose vaccine only in doctors' clinics. Contact your doctor and make an appointment.
Vaccination does not provide 100% protection. Side effects and allergic reactions may occur. Talk to your doctor to see if this vaccine is right for you or visit fluzone.ca. Mom, you should really get a flu shot. The flu can hit seniors pretty hard. I already got a flu shot. High dose, actually. My doctor recommends high dose because it's 24% more effective than Fluzone's standard dose. Your senior mom is smarter than you think.
High Dose is now covered in Ontario and free for adults 65 plus. Get the High Dose vaccine only in doctors' clinics. Contact your doctor and make an appointment.
Vaccination does not provide 100% protection. Side effects
means
and allergic
they get
reactions
to the OIT, which
Talk to
I
your
don't think
doctor
they
to
can
see if this
do. It's
vaccine
just
is
some
right for
random
you or
person
visit
poking you at a
fluzone.ca.
pharmacy.
Christmas news on the 25 brought to you by the Illusionist Magic of the Holidays. Toronto Raptors point guard Kyle Lowry and family spreading some Christmas cheer to families in need today. They hosted a special celebration for 150 residents of the Red Door Family Shelter at the Sky Zone Trampoline Park in Leaside. Lowry says he wanted to give the children a special day.
Get them outside and have some fun, do some exercise, and give them the meal, but also just being able to be around me and more interact and give the kids something to really say, man, they have a great Christmas spirit.
Lowry's charity also providing a holiday dinner and donated some winter accessories. The Red Door Shelter providing shelter and support to families affected by abuse and a lack of housing.
It's all mothers and kids in there, no shit.
25 minutes past every hour on 680 News.
And the only reason I ever been in the place is because I was bringing them bags, fucking toys and clothes and shit. But otherwise, generally speaking, they don't let men in as far as I
The
know.
Wall Street Journal reports the Vatican is using donations intended for the poor to instead plug its budget deficit. The paper says only 10% of donations to the Pope's main charitable fund go to the poor. The paper says that particular fund collects more than $55 million annually, but that the Vatican hasn't been truthful about where most of the funds go. In fact, they are mostly to deal with the administrative budget. The church as well, according to the Wall Street Journal, struggling with a growing budget deficit. The Pope warning cardinals of the, quote, grave impact of the body's economic future. Meantime, side of the Times, Major League Baseball will begin testing players for opioids and will remove marijuana from its banned substance.
Their fucking doctors are hooking them on the opioids. That's a fucking known fact.
Cocaine and opioids, but not for cannabis. Speaking of cannabis, we had a bit of an up and down trade for those stocks on the Toronto Exchange today, following news yesterday out of Queen's Park that the provincial government opened up the door to the retail market. Canopy Growth was up but closed down at $27.28. The TSX, though, enjoyed a winning
no
day.
Revenue, no earnings per share, bro.
17,003, capping off a winning week. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up just 3 points, but at 28,135, it moved higher on the week. Top stories are only 60 seconds from now here on 680 News.
Holiday excitement starts at Best Buy with hot savings on the best tech kits. You'll save $50 on a Samsung A8 tablet. Get it for only $149.99. That's a Boxing Day price. Get exciting gifts for everyone on your list at Best Buy.
Me and this F-150, we are in it for the long haul.
Oh, yeah? What about costs like insurance, maintenance?
What about your seatbelt setting you on fire?
The lowest cost to own in its class, 50 year in a row.
Wow, sounds
Just
like
imagine the poor bastard that happened to. They said it happened once, eh?
The truck with the Vincentric Award for lowest cost to own in its class.
I would love to know what he did.
Year-end event, get up to $10,500 in rebates on select new 2019 F-150 models. Get the truck that's built for the
Dear Ford, you're not going to believe this. Your seatbelt damn near killed me.
Holiday excitement starts at Best Buy Mobile with a new phone activation. Save up to $440 on select mobile phones during this weekend's Friends and Family Sale. It's on now through Monday at Best Buy and Best Buy Mobile.
It's time for the 680 News Business Travelers Forecast, brought to you by Park and Fly. Start and end your trip at Park and Fly Valet, the quickest way to park by the airport. Join Park and Fly's rewards program, where you can turn your paid parking into free parking. Visit parkandfly.ca for details.
Vancouver tomorrow, partly cloudy, 3 degrees. In Ottawa, rain and 3. St. John's overcast and 0. This is CFTR 680 News at 8:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie. Good evening. This is Friday, December 13th.
Here's what's making news this hour.
Public high school teachers getting ready for another Wednesday walkout. 10 school boards impacted by the job action. Your cost of hopping on the subway could be going up. The TTC wants to hike fares next year. An 18-year-old in Hamilton no longer faces a murder charge in the death of 14-year-old Devin Brackey-Selvey, who was killed outside his high school in October.
And we'll tell you about a fruitcake, almost 150 years old, passed down through an American family year after year. No word on whether they risked eating it.
The Maple Leafs have the night off, but make a small move while the President's Cup is on the go down under. Sports at 45.
The future of the humble old windshield wiper will let you know what Tesla is planning on replacing them with.
Titanium dioxide.
56 points. Wall Street turns out some records. Business at 56.
Everyone.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by CastleLife.com. We have new problems, it sounds like. Another one on the eastbound 401. Traffic spotter says approaching Mavis, the left lane is blocked off with police activity. Maybe a collision here. Heavy from east to Mississauga Road to approaching Mavis because of that, and very slow. West 401, similar in this area, also seeing delays. Approaching here, Ontario Collectors to west of Mavis. I was already busy through here, but that visual distraction of the eastbound problem is certainly not going to help things. Now, the other problem that we have on the eastbound 401 is the collector ramp to the 400 in Black Creek Drive, partially blocked with a collision over on the right-hand side of that ramp, sort of just poking into the ramp lane. It's a collision being cleaned up, tow trucks on the scene, and because of this, it's busy on the East 401 from approaching Weston to the 400 in the collectors as you try to take that ramp. Volume as well, Bayview to Leslie, express and collectors traveling eastbound. Heavy spot northbound 400 from approaching Major Mackenzie up towards Teston Road. The right lane is blocked here for construction, so that's really jamming things up. Speeds are quite slow through this area, but it doesn't last for too long. Thankfully, it's not a long delay, it's just very slow. Things starting to slow a little bit again on the north down Valley Parkway through Bayview Bloor. Reason for that is the eastbound Gardner still very heavy from Jameson over to Cherry. All this traffic was back behind a collision, or rather a stolen vehicle at Cherry. And now that that's gone, all the volume is free once again to travel onto the DVP. So we're going to see some patchy volume over the next little while just traveling up towards the 401. If you're traveling the westbound Gardner, it's just fine. Westbound QEW seeing minor volume by the Ford plant. Castle Life Furniture and Accessories December sale is on now. Get up to 30% off across the store on all new orders. Come see what's in store or online at castlelife.com. Your next report at 8:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ranzo-High.
Tonight, temperatures down to 1 degree here in the city. It could be closer to the freezing mark, though, across the north to GTA and higher elevation. So as drizzle makes its way in overnight, it could be brief freezing drizzle to the north. And then everyone over into rainfall, 8 to 15 millimeters on the way, starting to mix in wet snow late afternoon and into the evening. So watch for slick spots and even a couple of centimeters of accumulation to the north and east. Tomorrow's down to 3 degrees. It's going to turn windy Saturday night. Overnight tonight, we're headed down to low of 1 degree.
Right now, downtown, partly cloudy and 680 news time, 8:33.
Give me a car with a black ice detector that'll fucking stop the car before I hit it,
We'll see the
man.
Halton and
I don't need
York
no
Region
self-parking.
opting to strike. The walkout does not include Toronto Public High School teachers.
More on the negotiations between the union and the province. We're joined
you said
by
it right the first
680's
time,
Caitlin Lee. Caitlin.
Scott, it will be the third walkout in 3 weeks. It will happen if contract talks do not show any progress on Monday or Tuesday. OSSTF President Harvey Bischoff says so far there's been no change on what they say are the key issues: e-learning, class sizes, and other funding cuts. But Education Minister Stephen Lecce says the real demand the province isn't budging on is compensation. There's Parliamentary Assistant David Ficini.
Their work was in order, but again, I cannot justify to the hard-earning taxpayers of our riding, people who get up day in, day out, who punch in and out, that $1.5 billion taxpayer funded increase is justified.
Bischoff says it's getting them further away from reaching a deal.
It's absolutely disheartening to have a Minister of Education discredit my members' commitment to the students that they serve every single day. He's clearly trying to distract from quality of education.
People like me come out of good
boards plan to take
educational
Wednesday
systems.
for the Toronto District School Board, not one of them. Employees at several French language schools also planning to strike as they are members of the OSSTF. A full list of who's impacted can be found at 680news.com. Reporting live, I'm Caitlin Lee. 680 News Time, 8:35. The TTC wants to increase some fares by 10 cents next year. In a report released today, the proposed fare increase would be effective on March 1st, 2020. Adult cash fares would not change, but adult Presto car fares would increase to $3.20. Senior and youth Presto fares would also increase 10 cents right across the board, while a monthly adult Presto pass would spike by $5. The TTC hopes to raise about $31 million through the fare hike. City Council will have the final say.
This is fucked up because when they first brought it out, they made the Presto fares cheaper.
The hiring of an additional 50 transit enforcement officers specifically to crack down on fare evasion. It also includes 124 more.
With no evidence that there is
the system's busiest routes. Mayor John Tory has done a deep dive of the TTC budget and says for the first time it includes funding for the $1.5 billion Young Bloor station expansion. Tory says the TTC has also found a way to save $29 million without affecting service.
A first-degree murder charge against one of the 2 teens accused of killing a 14-year-old in Hamilton, October, has been dropped. However, he's still facing charges in the case. 680 Charlene Close reports. 14-year-old Devin Brackey Selby was stabbed to death on October 7th outside Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School in Hamilton. Police arrested two brothers, 18 and 14 years old.
They were brothers.
They were both charged with first-degree murder, but the Crown has now withdrawn that count against the older brother. Doesn't end
That's
there,
the
though.
first
The
I heard they
18-year-old
were
is now
brothers,
facing
man.
3 new charges, including assault with a weapon. He's been released on bail. When Hamilton police arrested the pair, they said they believed the younger brother was the one who stabbed Devin. I'm Charlene Close.
New air rules coming into effect this weekend just in time for the holiday rush. 680's Richard Southern with what you need to know.
Never mind those vouchers for food that the airlines used to hand out. In the event of some delays, you'll be entitled now to cold, hard cash. Under this new law, a delay of 3 to 6 hours will see you paid $400 by the airline. 6 to 9 hour delay, $700, and anything 9 hours or more, you're entitled to $1,000. Jeff Kasprick, though, with the Alberta Motor Association, says there are some loopholes here.
The most notable gap that exists is, in fact, around protections on mechanical delays. The Canadian Bill of Rights does not actually include protections around mechanical delays, which does represent a loophole that we need to be very mindful of and monitor as we go forward.
The new law also stipulates that children under the age of 5 must be seated next to their parents. I'm Richard Southern.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has issued marching orders to his
They had
cabinet.
to make a
Finance Minister
law
Bill
to tell
Morneau has
them
announced
that?
he will present
What
a fiscal update on Monday. The Conservatives have been clamoring for one since Parliament resumed after the fall election. All of Trudeau's letters to ministers included a reminder to cooperate with opposition parties and to listen to provincial leaders.
2 people have been arrested in Brampton accused of selling fake designer bags online. Peel police saying victims were duped into paying large sums of money for what they believed were authentic Chanel purses. The suspects even provided receipts and cards of authenticity that turned out to be fabricated. The bags sold on Facebook Marketplace and the app Lego. Investigators urging the public to be cautious when buying and selling things on the internet and are urging people to use
You overthought things. We'll make a fake certificate of authenticity. Anybody asking for a certificate of authenticity is going to call the cops on your ass.
Passing down a 141-year-old homemade fruitcake as a family heirloom. The cake was originally preserved to honor the woman who baked it in 1878. Since then, it has been passed down by family members. Now the cake is a tribute to the woman's great-grandson who died in 2013. Or if he had a little bite of that
Throw
cake.
it out,
You
man.
like fruitcake? God,
No,
I know.
no, not at all.
Even if I did, I wouldn't admit it. We'll take a look at gas prices.
She likes fruitcake. 680 News Time 839.
The Mercedes-Benz Oakville year-end winter sales event is on now. For a limited time, enjoy exceptional offers such as lease rates from 1.49%, finance rates from 0.49%, cash support up to $25,000, and 3 payments waived on us on select in-stock models. Plus, receive a special bonus offer with purchase available only at Mercedes-Benz Oakville.
These two are a little fucked up. 28 years for man who tried to kill Edmonton police officer pedestrians. And his face is all fucked up right there, man. A man convicted of attacking an Edmonton police officer and then running down 4 pedestrians with a U-Haul van has been sentenced to a total of 28 years in prison. Abdullahi Hassan Sharif, who is 32, was handed 18 years for striking Constable Mike Chernick with a car before stabbing him multiple times outside a football game. Sheriff has also been sentenced to 10 years for running down 4 pedestrians with a U-Haul van during a subsequent police chase in the city's downtown in September 2017. He was convicted in October on 11 charges, including attempted murder, criminal flight causing bodily harm, and dangerous driving. I didn't know that was a charge. Sheriff, who's a Somali refugee. Why is that relevant? Why did I read that? Read it. Sheriff, who's a Somali refugee, was not represented by a lawyer at trial, did not testify or call any witnesses, and did not make any sentencing submissions. He will get credit for time served. Well, he's going to spend pretty much all of his life here in Canada, eh? 3 meals a day, all that. I don't know if that's his motivation, but I mean, this one's sort of weird. The SIU, it's weird because I don't see where the police interaction is in this one. Exactly. It says SIU investigating after man injured in downtown crash. The Special Investigations Unit has been called into called in to investigate. I swear to God, to investigate after a car crashed into a pole on Friday just before 8 a.m. The SIU says police were investigating a vehicle of interest in the, I don't know what that means. It's not in quotes, so the media is using it like an actual legal term. In the area of Jarvis and Gerard Streets when the vehicle made its way southbound on Jarvis and then eastbound on Shooter Street before striking a light standard at the intersection of Shooter and Parliament Streets. Witnesses on scene tell City News the vehicle was traveling at a high speed when it crashed. It's unclear at this point what led to the crash. Paramedics transported a 40-year-old man to hospital with a shoulder injury. The SIU says he was driving the vehicle at the time of the incident. The SIU is called in when police are involved in an incident that results in a death, serious injury, or allegations of sexual assault. So I'm not sure where they're saying the police got involved there. They were following, I don't understand it.
But it is very slow through this stretch.
Like I'm saying, they haven't admitted where they
Things
got
still in the
involved.
process of improving on the eastbound Gardner, and delays now from about York over to Cherry into the long-term construction. We're almost there, almost up to speed. No issues on the westbound Gardner, and just a minor volume delay on the North Don Valley Parkway for a stretch north of Bayview Bloor. Outside of that, it's not bad. South DVP is up to speed. Every child has the right to be a kid and stay a kid for as long as they can. Support the right to a childhood at unicef.ca. Your next report at 8:51, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking, but what the fuck does it have to do with the reality of what you're going to do with that money?
To rain 8 to 15 millimeters. Just watch for some brief freezing drizzle, though, overnight up over those higher elevations. And as we get on the backside of this system, Saturday afternoon and evening, colder air means we'll switch over to some wet snow. I think downtown may stay as straight rainfall, but watch the north and east ends of the city for a few centimeters of slushy accumulation. The high tomorrow, 3 degrees. Tomorrow night is very gusty out of the northwest, and then Sunday, gusty northwest winds continue with lake effect snow possible, especially again north and east GTA, the traditional snow belts. Watch for driving through sun and then sudden whiteout conditions at times through the day. Sunday's temperature 0 falling to -3, wind chill -10. Tonight we're down to a low of 1 degree.
And the temperature downtown Toronto 4 degrees with a partly cloudy sky. At Pearson Airport 3 degrees and mostly cloudy. 680 News Time 8:44.
Questions about your furnace? Call on Reliance Home Comfort. Cecil asks, can I control my home's heating with voice commands? Yes, when you connect a smart thermostat and smart speaker, you can do just that. Right now, get our featured furnace with no monthly payments or interest for 18 months, and we'll throw in a Google Home Hub and Nest Smart Thermostat as an exclusive bonus. So you can simply say, hey Google, make it warmer. And just like that, your home warms up. When you need help fast, Reliance. Conditions and taxes apply. Interest accrues 18 months from installation. Financing OAC.
'Tis the season of doing and seeing and frosting and highliner knows all that is exhausting. So dinner is covered and it's a crowd pleaser. All you have to do is take it out of the freezer. We've got delicious, flaky cod.
Everybody wants to be a fucking rapper.
Heavenly haddock, but no pumpkin upstage. And a captain that keeps getting better with age. Finally, something that won't cause any stress. Satisfying seafood in 20 minutes or less.
Celebrating 120 years of Highliner Seafood. Catch us in the frozen aisle. This is All News Radio, 680 News.
4 degrees with a partly cloudy sky. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Christine Ritchie. Here are the top stories this hour. Another Wednesday walkout planned, this time involving boards in the Halton and York regions. The Toronto School Board is not participating in this strike day. And the TTC wants to raise the cost of taking public transit on March 1st of next year. Adult cash fares would not change, but adult Presto car fares would increase to $3.20. Senior and youth Presto fares would also increase 10 cents across the board. City Council will vote on the proposal next year. 680 News Time, 8:45. Now, 680 Sports from Sportsnet 5. Nutty the Fan. Here's George Russick.
Christine, the Maple Leafs have the night up as they
Tricked you. You all got the cards. Now you're paying extra. You paid $6 just to have the card.
We'll get the start on goal. The Leafs also made a move today, sending Nick Patan back down to the Marlies, paving the way what we think
for Trevor Moore. Action on the go right now from the NHL tonight. Night Stars lead the Golden Knights 1-0, 4:29 and go in the first period. While at the top of the clock, the Avalanche and Devils will square off from Denver. President's Cup action on the go right now. Day 3 4-ball action. The Internationals lead the Americans 8.5 to 4.5, and right now only one match on the go, and they lead in 4-ball action over Team USA. Raptors have the night off. They host Brooklyn tomorrow. Fred VanVleet is doubtful with a banged up knee injury, and the Mississauga Steelheads trailing North Bay right now, early third period, down at the Paramount Fine Food Center, 2-1. Sports at 15:45 past every hour or anytime in home at Tim and Sid now on radio and TV. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 8:47.
On December 15th, the Today's Showstopper will be a TSC exclusive, the powerful Dyson Cyclone V10 Motorhead cordless vacuum bundle. Its detachable handheld unit takes on big spills, while its fully sealed filtration system traps microscopic dust. And its recharging dock holds your accessories while providing up to 60 minutes of vacuum power. Watch for it on December 15th when it's the Today's Showstopper. Shop TSC.ca. Today's shopping choice.
This ad is only 15 seconds long. 2-hour TTC transfers with your Presto card are 480 times longer. So if this ad feels like it goes on forever, just think of how long you'll have to get all your errands done with just one fare. Presto. Tap on. There's an app for finding ghosts and an app that makes you old. There's even an app that lets you talk to an animated hippo.
Fuck's sakes, why will you not go where I am telling you to go?
Download the Presto app and stay on top of your daily commute. Presto. Tap on.
680 News Time, 8:48.
A 15-week initiative to fight Toronto's gun problem has been successful, with police announcing a number of charges and arrests as a direct result of the crackdown. But unfortunately, today's reveal comes as the city saw another night of gunplay with 4 shooting incidents. 680's Mark Douglas is at Toronto Police Headquarters and joins us with the latest on Project Community Space.
Saying the shootings went up, so they had to adapt. Toronto Police are calling Project Community Space a success.
1,145 charges, seized just under 250 firearms. Of the 463 arrests,
He doesn't want to say 24/7.
97 of these individuals were out on firearm-related bails.
From Toronto Police, that's Superintendent Steve Watts. This 15-week program was all about intelligence-based policing in high-risk neighborhoods.
89 referrals to community agencies.
Intelligence-based, that's spying on your ass.
45 were to a gang exit program.
Watts does not consider a peak in the number of shootings during the 15-week project a failure, as their solve rate for the crimes was so much higher than before. Outside police headquarters,
last year it was 10%.
If it seemed too good to be true for users, that's because
1 in
the
10
wallet
shootings
that
went to
Netflix
court.
was using was illegal.
Of course it went up this year.
Users of Jetflix could
The number of
stream
shootings
popular
are
shows from all the major networks and streaming platforms. That is until the FBI took down Jetflix. Now, 2 men who helped build Jetflix have pleaded guilty to criminal copyright charges in Las Vegas. Daryl Polo, known as DJ Pimp, was also accused of running iStream-It-All, one of the biggest illegal TV and movie streaming services in the country. Other defendants in the case are due to go on trial early next year. Alex Stone, EBC News.
The holidays were made for loving company, heartwarming smiles, and mouth-watering delicious feasts and treats. And there's nothing the staff of Pumpernickel's knows better. To all the Pumpernickel's customers that have warmed their hearts with your wonderful company, and to all the new smiley faces they'll welcome in 2020, have a safe and joyous holiday season and a happy new year. Find out how Pumpernickel's can light up your holidays and your new year with exquisite catering, or find a Pumpernickel's near you at pumpernickels.ca.
Rexall can help with holiday shopping.
I haven't even started my holiday shopping.
You know, Rexall has great holiday gift sets, and you'll get 20 bonus air miles after spending $15 on them. I checked everyone off my list.
I don't even have a list yet.
I'll help you out with that. Here,
This is just your name on a piece of paper.
gotta start somewhere. Get 20 bonus air miles for spending $15 or more on select holiday gift sets, including cosmetics, bath, skincare, and more. Offer ends December 19th. Visit Rexall.ca for details.
News Time, 8:51.
With a look at the roads, here's Kyle Hugging.
This report brought to you by Audi Queensway. We've got still a heavy spot in the 400 northbound, but we'll let you know about this other issue on the East 401 heading for the 400 north. First of all, that collector ramp to the 400 and Black Creek Drive now cleared of an earlier problem. And if you're traveling onto the 400 north, depending on how far north you're going, you're going to hit this heavy spot north of Major Mackenzie. The right lane is blocked up here up towards Teston Road. So it is very heavy for a stretch from approaching Major Mac up towards Teston Road, and then you're in the clear once you're past that. If you want to avoid this, you can just stay to the right and then take that ramp to Major Mackenzie without too much trouble. You can then go over to Jane Street, go up to Teston, back onto the 400, and you're around it. That way you don't have to sit in that heavy spot again. It doesn't last for long, but it's very slow through that one stretch. If you're traveling the remainder of the highways, really not bad. Things have now eased off on the eastbound Gardner, DVP northbound, just seeing a bit of volume from Lawrence up to York Mills with a minor delay. Rest of your highways, though, look pretty good. And if you're traveling in town, we had a stretch of Parkside at the lakeshore, a single lane in each direction. Delays don't look too bad there at the moment, but they've sort of been switching it around, so only one direction of traffic being allowed through at a time. We'll keep an eye on that just in case this construction spot gets any worse. Award yourself a performance bonus for a 2019 Q7 from 1.98% for 48 months, plus receive up to $5,000 in Audi event credit now at AudiQueensway.ca. Your next report at 9:01 with the extended forecast. Here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Drizzle switching to rain for Saturday, 8 to 15 millimeters, and winds start picking up out of the northwest. We'll be gusting 60 to 70 kilometers per hour by Saturday night. Now, the high is 3 degrees in the afternoon, but as we start to fall late in the day, temperature-wise, we'll start mixing in some wet snow, and especially keeping an eye on the north and east ends of the GTA for a few centimeters of accumulation. That'll end Saturday night, and then Sunday, lake effect snow possible. So it'll be sun and then flurries heavy at times. And again, it's going to be north and east ends of the city watching for the greatest risk for that lake effect snow. Still gusty out of the northwest. Temperatures falling from 0 down to -3. Monday, overcast to start. Could see some snow late in the day, which could impact that drive home. A couple of models still have this system missing us, but again, potentially some snow late day Monday with a high of -1. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of 1 degree.
Downtown Toronto right now, partly cloudy and 4 degrees. At Pearson, partly cloudy and 3.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Cold Drops. One drop for temporary relief of sore throat and nasal congestion.
Cold Drops.
Cold Drops are available at Metro pharmacies near you. This product may not be right for you. Always read and follow the label.
In Canada, we have a saying, nothing sticks in winter like a tongue on a metal pole. Ford tire experts have a saying too. When the temperature drops below 7 degrees, nothing
I think
else
if you have
sticks
to
the
tell
road
us we
like
have
the
a saying,
right
I don't
winter
think we
tires.
have that saying, bro.
So get a grip on winter and avoid getting stuck. Not again. Ooh. Get up to $100 in manufacturer mail-in rebates on select tires. Learn more about our price match promise and rebates at Ford.ca. Some conditions may apply.
You've heard the saying, like a kid at Christmas.
That's how excited we are at 98.1 CHFI.
We can't wait for Christmas. Literally. So we're playing all Christmas music.
Yeah, it's every day.
Christmas is the best time of year, and we love to bring it to you. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Happy holidays.
Toronto's Christmas music station is
98.1 CHFI.
680 News Time 8:54. Speculation is bubbling over who will replace Andrew Scheer as federal conservative leader, but we know more about who will not run as opposed to who will.
I don't understand this concept.
Rivals in the
You've got
2017
a bunch of
leadership
seats and shit.
contest,
Now you're just
Matthew
going to
Bernier
abandon
and
your whole
Kevin
platform.
O'Leary
What the fuck?
quickly ruled themselves out. So did Premier Doug Ford, Alberta Premier Jason Kenney, and Manitoba Premier Brian Pallister. Coming up in a minute's time, we'll have a look at the business report.
680 News Time 8:55.
Happy holidays, everyone! It's Megan, Chief Play Officer at Toys R Us. Have you ever seen 20,000 toys all in one place? At Toys R Us, you'll find anything and everything that kids like me can use for. Right now, you can buy one, get one, 50% off for all LOL surprise. Because hey, the only thing better than one awesome toy is two awesome toys. You can also save 25% off all games, $19.99 and up. Some exceptions apply. Visit your closest Toys R Us store or go to toysrus.ca.
Why did I wait so long? Our patients tell us that all the time at the Herzig Eye Institute. I'm Cherry Tab, co-founder of the Herzig Eye Institute. And Dr. Herzig and I want to ask you, why have you waited so long? You could finally be free from glasses, contacts, even reading glasses. Google high definition vision. Learn about Herzig. Call us for a consultation. There's no charge. Afterwards, you'll say, why did I wait so long? Look after yourself. Promise me.
No fucking words.
Now, 680 News Business Report. Here's Richard Southern.
Good evening. Happy Friday. We may have found out what the future of the windshield wiper is. Tesla has filed the patent to
Titanium?
replace the humble old windshield wiper with laser beams. Yes, indeed. The electric car company says these lasers would burn dirt and debris off rather than wipe them. The patent noting what it calls the inefficiency of traditional windshield wipers. Tesla says the laser cleaning system would be set up in such a way that it doesn't damage the eyes of the vehicle's occupants. Good to know. The electric car maker also hopes that the cleaning technique can be used on its solar panels, that the roof tiles that are being made by its subsidiary Solar City. Cool stuff. All right, meantime, here's a troubling economic stat. Canadian household borrowing is going up like a laser beam, jumping 31% according to Stats Canada. Canadian households borrowing $28.5 billion just between July and September. Both mortgages and consumer lines of credit saw big increases, and low mortgage rates certainly contributing to that. Toronto stock market higher both today and on the week. The TSX up 56 points to 17,003. Royal Bank and TD both gained more than $1. Some Nutrien stock up more than $1 as well. And some solid gains for the likes of the Stars Group and for CP Rail. Wall Street with a subdued trade, although we did see some records there. The Dow was up 3 points at 28,135. S&P up just a fraction, but all-time high at 3168. The Nasdaq gaining 17 points. Kind of a lack of market-moving news on Wall Street today after we got wind yesterday of that Phase 1 trade deal between China and the U.S. Gold up to $1,480. Oil above $60 the barrel. And the Canadian dollar higher to 75.95 cents U.S. Your need-to-know top stories are just 60 seconds from now, right here on 680 News.
What will your winter vacation sound like this year? Or wherever you're heading, be sure to pack CAA travel insurance. From helping you find the nearest hospital to paying emergency medical expenses up front, CAA travel insurance lets you travel worry-free. Plus, CAA members save 10%. So get a quote today before you hear this. CAA, making bad days good and good days better. Terms and conditions apply. CAA travel insurance is underwritten by Orion Travel Insurance Company.
Your holiday feast is on now at Mandarin. We've added traditional favorites to our all-you-can-eat buffet for a limited time while supplies last.
Turn it over to
Featured
indigenous
dishes like
people,
roast
and all I
turkey
see
with
is
all
her
the
talking.
fixings, spicy firecracker shrimp, pesto chicken pasta, ribeye steak, and a tasty array of holiday desserts. And if you're celebrating at home or in the office, try Mandarin party menus for takeout and delivery. So ring in your reservation today and make all your meals be merry.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart.
Walmart's rolling back prices on thousands of items from toys to electronics, including brand names like Keurig, KitchenAid, Hot Wheels, and Barbie. Hurry, the rollback event is on now at Walmart.
That's
And taking
a
a look
good
at the
word.
regional weather
Climate
conditions
Barbie.
this hour in Hamilton, 2 degrees, partly cloudy sky.
Who's Barbie's
there.
little
Oshawa,
sister
3
called?
degrees, overcast sky. Richmond Hill, 1 degree, partly
That's
cloudy.
what I'm gonna call
Mississauga,
Greta
3
Thunberg.
degrees and partly cloudy. Up in Barrie, 0 degrees, partly cloudy there. And in Uxbridge, if you're doing a little skiing, 1 degree with some light snow falling there right now. This is CFTR 680 News Time at the sound of the tone. We'll be 9 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie.
Good evening. This is Friday, December 13th.
Here's what's making news this hour. The third walkout in 3 weeks. Secondary school teachers planning more job action as contract talks remain at a standstill.
The cost of Presto could change in the new year. The TTC proposing a fare hike for 2020.
A first-degree murder charge against an 18-year-old in the stabbing death of a Hamilton teen is dropped, but he's facing 3 new counts. His younger brother is still charged with murder.
Their championship run united the country, so it makes sense the Raptors would be named the Empire Club's Nation Builder of the Year.
God bless Canada, and thank you for this award.
The Maple Leafs make a small move ahead of their game against the Oilers tomorrow, while it's a light night of action in the NHL. Sports at 15.
Going after the big ticket guys, the U.S. Department of Justice might be taking action against Live Nation. TSX turns out a winning day and week. Business at 26.
Traffic and weather together on the ones of traffic center. Mr. Hawking.
And this report brought to you by Marquee Jewelers. By far the heaviest spot on the drive right now is 400 northbound, approaching Major Mackenzie to approaching Teston Road as you enter a construction zone where the right lane is blocked. So that's where it's heavy, approaching Major Mac to approaching Teston. Then you're through the worst of it. Once you get to Teston Road, your speeds improve, and then you'll get beyond that construction zone in short order as well. On the remainder of our major routes, it's much quieter than that. We've got minor volume on the DVP northbound approaching Lawrence up towards York Mills. Southbound DVP's in good shape and no delays really on the westbound Gardner. Just a minor delay eastbound Gardner as you travel into the construction zone through Cherry. We've got, of course, the long-term lane restrictions there. So it's a bit slow eastbound through Cherry, but not bad. A traffic spotter called to say eastbound Huron-Ontario, or eastbound QEW heading through Huron-Ontario. We have a tire sort of poking into the left-hand lane. I've notified the MTO about that.
It's not a ladder,
They're
but
sending
I'll
a crew
count
to
it as a win.
investigate that stretch of the east QEW. No delay through there, but just keep an eye out for it. Get into the Christmas spirit at
I just found out Ken and Barton broke up once. What the fuck?
Last. Don't miss out. 2 Bloor Street West at Yonge. Your next report at 9:11, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramza. Hi.
Drizzle overnight tonight here in the GTA, although slight risk of freezing drizzle up over higher elevations to the north, and then that'll turn into straight up rainfall Saturday, 8 to 15 millimeters. Staying mainly as rain downtown, but we'll likely start mixing in some wet snow through the late afternoon and into the evening. Even a couple of centimeters of slushy accumulation possible north and east. You know who you are, York Durham. 3 degrees the daytime high. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of 1 degree.
And right now downtown, 4 degrees. Partly cloudy sky at the Pearson Airport, 3 degrees and mostly cloudy. 680 News Time, 9:03.
Well, brace yourselves. It's happening again. Another Wednesday walkout for public high school teachers.
With more on how the negotiations between the union and province are going, we are joined live by 680's Caitlin Lee. Caitlin.
And Christine, OSSTF President Harvey Bischoff says they have not had a single new proposal from the government in weeks, and it's disappointing.
Still on the table, are there plans to increase class size, eliminate the caps on any individual class, reduce the number of support staff?
The Minister of Education, Stephen Lunchet, continues to say the fight is actually about compensation. Parliamentary Assistant Dave Bacchini tells me a 2% salary increase is just too much.
When both sides agreed to meaningful third-party mediation, we managed to find a voluntary agreement.
The third Wednesday walkout in 3 weeks slated to happen only if no progress is made in talks early next week. Some of the school boards affected include York Public and Catholic Schools, as well as the Halton Public School Board. Teachers at the Toronto District School Board not included this time. You can head to 680 News for a full list of who is impacted. Reporting live, I'm Caitlin Lee.
680 News Time, 9:04. We have breaking news from Brampton tonight, where emergency crews are at the scene of a house fire. It broke out around 8 o'clock in Bologna Drive and Salem Court near Kennedy and Beauvais. It has since been brought under control, but Peel police say one person was treated for smoke inhalation.
The TTC wants to increase some fares by 10 cents in its proposed 2020 operating budget for the transit service. In a report released today, the proposed fare increase would be effective on March 1st of 2020. Adult cash fares would not change. However, tokens would cost 10 cents more, and a monthly pass would spike by nearly $5.
Who's selling tokens?
Also,
I thought you said you stopped selling them last
increase
month.
10 cents across the board. The TTC hopes to raise about $31 million through the fare hike. City Council has the final say.
680 News Time at 9:05. Storefront businesses working on another tax hike next year because they're taxed against the rising property values around them, regardless of how much money they bring in. Tinia's Danny of City News spoke to one owner who's had enough.
Owner Frederick Gesweiler moved Le Select Bistro into a low-rise building on Wellington Street in 2006. As properties around him are converted into condos, assessments of his property's value have gone up more than 500%. Gesweiler says he has no way of accessing that value unless he sells.
We cannot pay taxes on a building that does not exist.
More than 20,000 people have signed a petition he started asking for reform.
You should put that into the
Province's
economics
Municipal
classes
Property
in the
Assessment
universities,
Corporation assesses values every 4 years, and the city sets the tax rate. As a stopgap measure, the city capped commercial tax increases to 10% in 2018, but it's not set in stone. Downtown Councillor Kristen Wong-Tam is pushing for a more permanent solution, including a different tax brand for small businesses. So far, that hasn't been adopted. For 680 City News reporter Tina Asdani.
680 News Time 9:06. A change in the charges being faced by one of the two teens accused in the stabbing death of 14-year-old Devin Brachy-Selby. The Hamilton teen was killed outside his high school in October. 680 Charlene Close reports. A publication ban covers the case, so we're not allowed to share everything that happened in court. We can
They
tell
told
you
us
that
they're
the coroner
brothers.
dropped the first-degree murder charge against the 18-year-old, replacing the single charge with 3 new ones, including assault with a weapon. The young man's 14-year-old brother is still charged with first-degree murder. Police allege he's the one who had the knife. Devin Brachy-Selby was fatally stabbed on October 7th outside Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School. He died in his mother's arms. She says her son had been bullied, and while the school administration was aware, did nothing about it. I'm Charlene Close.
A wave of new air passenger rights arrives this Sunday. Some rules affect flight delays and cancellations. They include requiring airlines to seat parents beside or near
Skipper, how the
their
fuck
kids
did
at
I
no
forget
extra
that?
cost, and also compensating flyers for delays and cancellations within an airline's control. The rules rely on travelers filing complaints with airlines or, as a last resort, with the Canadian Transportation Agency.
The 2019 NBA champion Toronto Raptors got another
So
big
you have to
award
complain to
today.
them, then
The
you have to
Empire
ask
Club
them
presented
for
the
the
team
evidence.
its new
That
annual
real
Nation
fucking
Builder of the Year award. 680's Melvin Qureshi is at Royal York.
The Raptors championship run created a real sense of pride and unity, not only in the team, but in the country, with people in seemingly every city and every town chanting, "We the North." So when the Empire Club decided to give out its first ever Nation Builder of the Year award, it's hard to argue anyone deserves it more than this team. Raptors president Masai Ujiri says when you play to win.
Remember the
but you win
tattoos, the
by
free
bringing everyone
tattoos.
along with you.
Be progressive, grow, and
I don't think
open
it
your
counts,
minds
it's
up
for free.
to what's going on in the world. It's important because we use sports as our platform. Use your platform to grow and to be bigger. God bless Canada, and thank you for this award.
At the Carlou, I'm Melvin Qureshi.
Here with All News Radio 680 News at 9:08. Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll check on the price of the pumps.
680 News Time 9:09.
Don't put things off till another day. There's still time to make your Christmas dreams come true and get things organized before the holidays. Wouldn't it be nice to begin next year with a fresh start? Your money could be in your bank account within days. If you'd like $30, $40, or $400,000, let your house
keep raising it up, man.
Call Capital Direct today
Last week it
at
was 300.
1-800-NEW-CAPITAL and talk to one of our friendly advisors. CA.
This is your weather station, 680 News.
Now the 680 News gas price update. I'm predicting that the price of gas will go up 1 cent at midnight to $1.15.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll have a check of traffic and weather together on the ones.
680 News Time 9:10.
Be the first to know. Breaking news as soon as it happens. 680 News.
Hi, I'm Maureen Holloway. This time of year, we're lucky if we see a little sunshine. Sometimes we can't even see the road. Whatever you're seeing, you can feel safe and confident.
Sometimes we can't even see the rest.
New Toyota.
That's
Right
a-
now at Don Valley North Toyota, get lease rates as low as
It
0.49%.
makes me want to buy a car from you.
Or finance rates as low as 0% on select models. Plus cash saving incentives up to $8,000 on other select models. It's time to Toyota. At Don Valley North, Don Valley North Toyota. Deals just east of the 404.
Did you know that there is a fast way to send money abroad? It's called Zoom. XOOM. The money transfer app from PayPal that lets you send money abroad fast at amazing rates. Send money directly to bank accounts or for cash pickup at thousands of locations around the world. Don't go to the store and wait in line to send money. Download the Zoom app today and send money right from your phone. Money goes Zoom.
680 News Time, 9/11.
Traffic and weather together on the One Skyhawker.
This report brought to you by Shell. About 2 hours ago, the drive was just about as bad as it could get, and now it's really not bad. We've got one delay, one piece of debris, and one transfer closure, and that's your drive. The 400 northbound is where we have the delay. North of Major Mackenzie to north of Teston Road, the right lane is blocked for construction for the overnight. So delays begin as you approach approach Major Mackenzie. But by the time you get to Teston Road, speeds are back to normal, even though the construction zone does extend north of Teston Road. You just have to get to Teston, then you're past the delays. The piece of debris is on the eastbound QEW at nearby Huron, Ontario. We've got tires sort of poking into the left lane. It's on half on the left shoulder, half in the left lane. So as you travel east on the QEW through Huron, Ontario, keep an eye out for that piece of tire in the left lane. MTO is on the way to investigate. And the one transfer closure that you want to know about is eastbound 401 transfer into the collectors by Meadowvale. That transfer being closed off for overnight construction, so it won't be an option for you. That's the transfer that gets you to Kingston Road, Port Union, and Whites Road. Make sure you're in the collectors ahead of time if you have to use those ramps, as the transfer just before is closed. And the remainder of your drive is really not bad right now. No delays in any other areas. DVP and Gardner both in good shape. And the remainder of the 401, both east and westbound speeds are moving fairly well. It's simple to get 50 air miles bonus miles. Just fuel up 4 times with any Shell fuel, only until December 27th. Details at shell.ca/air miles
$15
with fuel.
off your ass in order to buy those points.
And with the forecast, here's Natasha Ranzai.
1 degree overnight tonight. We've got some drizzle changing to rain here in the city, but could see some brief freezing drizzle overnight. It's 8 to 15 millimeters, so pretty much an all-day rain, a good soaker with a high of 3 degrees. But watch as temperatures drop late Saturday. Starting to mix in. It's going to impact visibility, travel out on the roadways for Saturday evening, even a couple of centimeters of accumulation to the north and east. And then Saturday night, very windy out of the northwest, up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. Sunday, not much better, mainly cloudy, even though we'll see a few more peaks of sunshine. It's that gusty northwest wind and dropping temperatures, 0 falling to -3. That's going to bring in some lake effect snow on and off through the city. Traditional snow belts, watch for potentially some snow squalls developing. Tonight, we're down to a low of 1 degree.
And right now, 4 degrees in downtown Toronto with a partly cloudy sky. Up at Pearson Airport, 3 degrees and mostly cloudy.
Toronto police trying to track down a suspected dog thief around 4 in the afternoon, October 27th. Police were called for a medical emergency at Kipling subway station.
It took till now for them to put this on the news. I've known for like
medical episode and lost consciousness. When she woke up, the dog named Charlie was gone. Investigators now have a description and security camera images of a woman believed to be responsible for taking the
$500
dog.
reward.
You can see those photos at 680news.com. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll recap your top stories and check it on sports.
680 News Time, 9:14.
Tim Hortons makes holiday shopping easy, no matter who's on your list, like friends, coworkers, and even know-it-all cousins. $1 from every purchase of our holiday merchandise supports Tim Hortons Foundation Camps. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Available to participate in restaurants for a limited time.
Connect with an audience of over 200,000 looking to improve their home and garden this year. The GTA Home and Reno Show and the National Home Show are back, and exhibit opportunities are running out. Don't miss this opportunity to grow your business and connect with a qualified audience of homeowners. Act fast and reserve your spot today. Visit TorontoHomeShow.com/exhibit or call 416-644-5405 for more info.
Tim Hortons makes holiday shopping easy, no matter who's on your list, like friends, coworkers, and even know-it-all cousins. $1 from every purchase of our holiday merchandise supports Tim Hortons Foundation Camps. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Available to participate in restaurants for a limited time.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Partly cloudy, 4 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Scott Burnett.
And then Christine Ritchie. Here are the top stories this hour.
And as the ongoing yet stagnant negotiations between the province and its educators continues, teachers from 10 Ontario school boards will be holding yet another one-day strike next Wednesday, the 18th. York Public and Catholic schools, as well as Halton Region High Schools, will be taking part. The TDSB will not.
The cost to hop on the TV RTTC could be climbing in 2020. A proposed fare hike would see adult Presto fares go up 10 cents, while a monthly pass would go up by about $5. Senior and youth Presto fares would increase by 10 cents. The proposed increases would bring in over $31 million.
Just in time for your holiday travels, the second phase of the new Air Passenger Bill of Rights arrives Sunday. Some rules include requiring airlines to seat parents beside or near their kids at no extra cost, and compensating flyers for delays and cancellations within airline's control.
For these stories and more, check out the 680 app or head to 680news.com.
Time for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan, George Russick.
Scott, the Maple Leafs have the night off, but made a minor move. They've loaned for Nick Patan to the Marlies, paving the way what we think will be for Trevor Moore. Maple Leafs wrap up their Western Canadian road trip tomorrow night in Edmonton against the Oilers. Frederick Anderson will make his 7th consecutive start. Action on the go right now from a late night in the NHL. Stars lead the Golden Knights 1-0 early second period in Dallas, while early first in Denver. The Avalanche and Devils are scoreless. Raptors have the night off. They will host Brooklyn tomorrow. Fred VanVleet is doubtful with a banged-up knee. And at the President's Cup right now, day 3 4-ball action. The Internationals lead Team USA here 1-up through 17, and the only match on the go, they're up overall 8.5 points to 4.5. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour, or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid now on radio and TV. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Castle Life Furniture's December sale is on now.
Hi, I'm Rob from Castle Life. For 17 years, our December sale has always been our biggest event. Unlike other sales, this sale is on every item we carry. And this year, we have over 30 of our most popular vendors in on the act, including our top modern Canadian manufacturers, as well as a great selection from all over the world. Come and see what we have in store or online to enjoy our best pricing of the year.
Sale on now, up to 30% off all new orders. 3 locations, including Yonge, north of Eglinton. Visit CastleLife.com.
Giving someone a CAA gift membership for the holidays is kind of like saying,
Happy battery boost for when your car doesn't start.
Wishing you peace, joy, and lots of restaurant savings.
Merry quick help with that flat tire.
say happy holidays with a CAA gift membership and give peace of mind with 24/7 roadside assistance across North America, plus great savings on shopping, dining, and more. Buy a gift membership by January 5th and get a $10 gift card. Details at CAAgift.com. CAA, making bad days good and good days better.
680 News Time 9:18.
There were 4 more shooting incidents overnight, but Toronto police say they are making progress in cracking down on guns and gangs. 680's Mark Douglas with an update on a 15-week initiative called Project Community Space.
It was a 15-week program in high-risk neighborhoods.
Our children aren't born gangsters. No one's born a gangster.
Superintendent Steve Ross calls Project Community Space a success.
This initiative was to
I went to the store and I purchased the gangbanger outfit.
Street gang activity in our communities.
463 arrests, more than 1,100 charges laid, and almost 250 guns
I got this
taken
from the
off
psych
streets.
ward.
Watts does not consider a peak in gun violence during the 15 weeks to be an indication of failure.
Total number of shootings, that's not something that the police are able to control at the grassroots level. What we can control is our response to it.
Outside police headquarters, I'm Mark
You can't do
Douglas.
nothing about it.
Democrats
Wow.
in the U.S. taking a huge step forward in their effort to impeach U.S. President Donald Trump. The House Judiciary Committee sending 2 articles of impeachment, abuse of power, and obstruction of Congress to the full House for a vote. That vote expected on Wednesday.
The Judiciary Committee approved 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump. Every Democrat voting yes, all Republicans voting no.
For the 3rd time in a little over a century and a half, the House Judiciary Committee has voted articles of impeachment against the president.
The president is as defiant as ever.
To use the power of impeachment on this nonsense is an embarrassment to this country.
Venting on Twitter, 123 tweets and retweets yesterday alone.
That's ABC's Jonathan Karl reporting the formal impeachment of Trump is likely next week, setting up a January trial in the Senate. Republicans in charge there making acquittal likely. And we have an update on that dog reported stolen that I told you about moments ago from a woman after she had a medical incident on a subway earlier today. Toronto police say Charlie has been returned to police. The Good Samaritan who returned the dog even updated all of his shots and bought him a new coat. It's the spirit of the season, let me tell you. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic in your extended forecast.
680 News Time 9:20.
The Monitoring Center is an owned and operated ULC-listed full-service monitoring facility, providing the lowest cost home security rates in the country. Switch your current alarm system or take advantage of our new customizable installation packages. Call the Monitoring Center today for your free quotation. Think security? Think the Monitoring Center. Why? Because we care.
1-866-24-7 or $9.99. 1-866-24-7 or $9.99.
Right now at Rogers, you can unwrap more. Like buy one, get one when you activate 2 lines with the Samsung Galaxy S10 and S10e on select 2-year plans. That means more for you and them with our greatest BOGO yet. More perfect holiday photos with Samsung's Pro-Grade multi-camera. And infinite data you can share when you get them both on a Rogers Infinite plan. Get twice the nice with Samsung BOGO during the Wrap and Red event. On now at Rogers.
News time 9:21.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by Bronte Village. Still a heavy spot, 400 northbound from approaching Major Mackenzie to approaching Teston Road. That's the section that is very slow. It's because the right lane is blocked for construction. Construction zone itself actually extends north of Teston Road. But once you get to Teston, your speeds improve through this construction zone. So it's a short stretch of a very heavy delay. Just be prepared for it. Approaching Major Mac to approaching Teston, that's where it's very slow. The remainder of your drive, not bad. No other delays. We have a bit of debris on the eastbound QEW near Huron, Ontario. The left lane affected with a tire that was sort of half on the shoulder, half in the left lane. So we've notified the M2 about that. They were heading to the area to investigate East QEW through Huron, Ontario. Watch out for a tire sticking into the left lane. Also on the eastbound 401 through Meadowvale, the transfer
just drive by and look at the
closed
fucking
for
shoulder
overnight
until you see the
construction.
tire, bro.
That's the
Stop.
transfer that advertises ramps to Kingston Road, Port Union, and Whites Road. If you have to use those ramps, be in the collectors ahead of time, as you can't use the transfer by Meadowvale. The only other problem is off the highways. Remember, I told you about this construction on Parkside by the lakeshore, and I was concerned about it because they do single-lane construction here, and around this time each evening, they'll stop all traffic in one direction to let the other direction go through. That's what they're doing again. As of this very moment, only southbound Parkside is open for traffic. Northbound traffic's having to wait. And now they've stopped all southbound traffic. Here goes the northbound traffic through this construction zone. So it's jammed up, especially southbound on Parkside from just south of High Park Boulevard down to the lakeshore as a result of this maintenance. Stroll through Bronte Village and discover retailers and gifts as unique as the people on your list. Take a selfie and sign the Christmas wishes wall, plus so much more. Details at shopbronte.ca. Next report at 9:31 with the extended forecast. Here's Natasha Ramsahai.
A messy weekend on tap with drizzle tonight, even brief freezing drizzle up over the escarpment. And that'll switch over to 8 to 15 millimeters of rainfall throughout the day on Saturday, but then
Black
mixing in
ice
wet
with a
snow
centimeter
late
of
in the
rain
day,
on
even
it.
a
That's
couple
nice.
of centimeters possible to the north and east end of the GTA by Saturday evening. 3 degrees
It's good
high,
skidoo weather.
a windy Saturday night. Temperatures on Sunday will be falling from 0 down to -3, wind chill -10. That's going to be cold enough that those gusty northwest winds could drive in some lake effect flurries, heavy at times throughout the day, also mixing in with some sunshine. Monday morning's commute should be okay, dry and cloudy, but we are keeping a close eye on another system that could start through that drive home Monday and continue Monday night with snow, the high -1. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of 1 degree.
And right now in downtown Toronto, 5 degrees with a partly cloudy sky. Up at Pearson Airport, it is 3 degrees, mostly cloudy there. 6 City News Time 9:24.
It's a beautiful time of year. Stop and appreciate how fortunate we are. Thank you so much to our customers for helping us grow since 1963. I'm Dominic Pinucci, and on behalf of all of us at Pizza Nova, Buon Natale a tutti.
When news breaks,
We've got you covered.
breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
All Christmas news coming up in 60 seconds.
At Rogers, get business-grade internet solutions like Rogers Business Internet Pro Gigabit plus Office 365. Now just $119.99 a month on a 3-year term. Visit rogers.com/internet-for-biz.
You can make more. Every Volvo is thoughtfully made with you and your family in mind.
Designed to spoil with unprecedented luxury and Scandinavian craftsmanship. And with legendary safety features that come standard, you can help protect what matters most. The Volvo Family Event is the perfect time to get the vehicle your family deserves. Lease or finance at 2.9% and receive a holiday bonus of up to $4,000 on select models. Visit your GTA Volvo retailer or volvocars.ca.
At Rogers, get business-grade internet solutions like Rogers Business Internet Pro Gigabit plus Office 365. Now just $119.99 a month on a 3-year term. Visit rogers.com/internet-for-biz.
You can make
Time for all Christmas news on the 25 is brought to you by the Scott Mission. Paul McCartney says he's recorded a secret Christmas album that's only for his family to hear.
Why are you telling us?
I want to make sure that you're all right. The Beatles fans would be annoyed by that one. McCartney, though, telling the BBC he thought years ago there were no good Christmas albums, so he made his own, consisting of traditional Christmas Carol instrumentals. The British rock legend says he brings it out every year for his children and now his grandchildren. He says while they like it, he will never release it to the public.
Christmas news at 25 minutes past every hour on 680 News.
I want to get my hands on that Christmas album. Now the Christmas report is the business report. Richard Sutton.
Good evening. The U.S. Justice Department is preparing to take legal action against Live Nation on allegations the company is trying to strong-arm concert venues into using Ticketmaster, which is its subsidiary. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. The paper says Live Nation doesn't believe it's committed any violations. The Live Nation and Ticketmaster merger consolidated two of the most powerful forces in the music industry. It was controversial when it happened, and we have seen, generally speaking, ticket prices rise ever since. Live Nation stock was down some 7% on Wall Street today. Well, meantime, it's that time of year when some workers get a raise or perhaps a year-end bonus. That's not the case at Queen's Park, though. As MPPs take off for their 2-month Christmas break, it marks the 10th anniversary of a pay freeze that was imposed under former Liberal Premier Dalton McGuinty. MPPs earn $116,000 a year. Ministers take home $165K, while the Premier makes up $208,000 per year, and it's been that way for a decade. The head of the Treasury Board telling the Toronto Star that unless the government can show a balanced budget, MPPs will continue to have their pay frozen. By the way, the average salary in Canada is $53,000 a year. In Toronto, it's $62,000. The TSX today was up 56 points to 17,003, eking out a winning week.
Technically,
it's Royal Bank
over 17,000.
up $1. 52-week highs for Bosch Health, for the Stars Group, and for Detour Gold. Price for gold.
Surprised he didn't say it was a 2-day winning spree.
On subdued Friday trade on Wall Street, the Dow up 3 points at 28,135. S&P up a fraction, NASDAQ up 17, and the Loonie up to 75.95 cents U.S. Top stories are only 60 seconds from now.
Shit, that's close to 76.
It's Royal Lighting's
Which has been like a month, 2 months.
holiday flyer sale, loaded with massive savings on thousands of gorgeous styles of chandeliers, floor and table lamps, fixtures, sconces, pendants, and vanity lighting. Royal Lighting guarantees every flyer item in stock, ready to take go.
Business week, it's got to go up, not down. It's going to be more expensive not to do that transaction.
Royal Lighting's professional staff will help you choose the perfect lighting style for your beautiful
Why am I getting
home.
notifications for shit I'm doing?
49 Avenue Road, north of Lawrence.
Damn it.
The holidays are coming faster than Santa's sleigh. They'll be here before you know it. If you want to pay down some bills and simplify things heading into the new year, and even free up some money for the holidays, consider a consolidation loan from PrudentFinancial.net. Use the equity in your car or home to borrow up to $35,000 the same day. Go to PrudentFinancial.net and apply today. Wishing you and yours a magical holiday season. PrudentFinancial.net.
It's time for the 680 News Business Travelers Forecast, brought to you by Enercare. Call the HVAC Whisperers at Enercare today and get $40 off a furnace repair call. Enercare. No one understands your heating and cooling system better. Terms and conditions apply.
Chicago tomorrow, partly cloudy, -3 degrees. Miami, sunshine, 25. Lucky you. New York City, overcast, and 10 if you are off to Las Vegas. Good luck, mostly cloudy. And
Isn't it always overcast
and
and 10 in New York?
9:30.
#1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie. Good evening. This is Friday, December 13th.
Here's what's making news this hour.
Ontario secondary school teachers planning yet another one-day walkout next week.
Frustrating, disappointing.
The union and the government still disagreeing over what the real contract sticking points are. A man rushed to hospital after a fire breaks out in the basement of a house in Brampton.
If the TTC has its way, you'll be paying more to ride the rocket next year.
Toronto police posted security photos of a suspected dog thief today. Now, Charlie the dog has been returned tonight, almost 2 months after he was stolen.
The Maple Leafs send down a forward to the Marlies while the international team is taking control of the President's Cup. Sports at 5.
Could be some impactful news on the housing front. The federal finance minister said he's going to review the mortgage stress test rules. TSX up 56 points, eking out a weekly win. Business at 56.
9:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the run. Here's Kyle Hawkins.
This report brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Newmarket. Still have an eye on these delays northbound 400 from approaching Major Mackenzie up towards Teston Road. We have the left lane, make that the right lane blocked for construction, so it is quite slow through this construction zone. Again, delays start as you approach Major Mackenzie. By the time you get to Teston Road, you're through the worst of it. Your speeds have improved by that point. If you don't want to sit in that delay, you can always exit the highway at Major Mackenzie and use Jane Street just to the east of the 400. You can safely rejoin the 400 at Teston Road, and you'll be past the worst of it. We have debris reported on the eastbound QEW heading through Huron, Ontario. A piece of the left lane was affected with a tire that was sort of half on the shoulder, half in the left lane. MTO was on the way, so about a half hour to go to investigate that. And if you're traveling the eastbound 401, you'll want to know about this transfer closure. Eastbound 401 through Meadowvale, the transfer into the collector is closed for overnight construction. That's the transfer just before the ramps to Kingston Road, Port Union, and Whites Road. So if you have to use any of those three, just be in the collector lanes ahead of time. Construction off the highways causing delays on Parkside at the Lakeshore. Only one direction of traffic allowed through this construction zone at a time. So we have flagger workers on scene there helping direct traffic. It's especially heavy southbound from south of Hyde Park Boulevard down to the Lakeshore. So take an alternate to Parkside. Roncesvalles to the east works well. Right now at Mercedes-Benz Newmarket, enjoy savings on 2019 and 2020 models with rates from 0.49% and 3 months payment waivers.
You can't say
Your next
flag
report at
man anymore.
9:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Tonight, temperatures down to 1 degree here in the city. Could be closer to the freezing mark, though, across the north GTA and higher elevation. So as drizzle makes its way in overnight, it could be brief freezing drizzle to the north, and then everyone over into rainfall. 8 to 15 millimeters on the way, starting to mix in wet snow late afternoon and into the evening. So watch for slick spots and even a couple of centimeters of accumulation to the north and east. Tomorrow's high 3 degrees. It's going to turn windy Saturday night. Overnight tonight, we're headed down to a low of 1 degree.
Downtown Toronto, right now, partly cloudy and 680 News Time, 9:33.
With no insight and inside of the bargaining table, Ontario high school teachers will head back to the picket line for the third Wednesday in a row.
With more on the often combative talks between the province and its educators, we're joined live by 680's Caitlin Lee. Caitlin.
Scott, OSSTF President Harvey Bischoff says they haven't had a single new proposal from the government in weeks, and it's quite disappointing for him. This will be the third walkout in 3 weeks, and it will happen if contract talks do not show any progress on Monday or Tuesday. Bischoff says so far there's been no change on what they say is the key issues, e-learning, class sizes, and other funding cuts. But Education Minister Stephen Lecce says the real demand is the province, or the province isn't budging on, is compensation.
Their work was in order, but again, I cannot justify to the hard-earning taxpayers of our riding, people who get up day in, day out, who punch in and out, that $1.5 billion taxpayer-funded increase is justified.
That's Parliamentary Assistant David Piccini. Meanwhile, Bischoff says this is all getting them further away from reaching a deal.
It's absolutely disheartening to have a Minister of Education discredit my members' commitment to the students that they serve every single day. He's clearly trying to distract from quality of education issues.
10 school boards plan to take part Wednesday. That is the teachers that work at them, including Halton Public and York Public and Catholic boards. Employees at several French language schools also planning to strike as they are members of the OSSTF. A full list of who is impacted can be found at 680news.com. Reporting live, I'm Caitlin Lee. 680 News Time, 9:35. Breaking news from Brampton, where one man has been taken to hospital after a fire broke out in the basement of a house near Kennedy and Boulevard. It happened at around 8 o'clock this evening at Valonia Drive and Salem Court. Fire crews say the fire is now under control. The victim, meantime, is being treated for minor burns at a local hospital. Stay with 680 News for more on this developing story.
Happy ending of a story we told you about earlier. Toronto police have been trying to track down a suspected dog thief after the pup was stolen back in October. The dog's owner suffering a medical episode at Kipling subway station, and when she came to, her dog was gone. Well, Charlie has been turned into police custody. Police say the person who brought him in even updated Charlie's shots and bought him a new sweater.
680 News Time, 9:36. The TTC wants to hike some fares by 10 cents as a way to raise more than $31 million. The report released today, the proposed fare increase would come into effect on March 1st of 2020. Adult cash fares would not change, but adult Presto fares will cost 10 cents more, and a monthly pass would go up by about $5. Also, senior and youth Presto fares would increase by 10 cents. The proposed changes follow a similar 10-cent hike in 2019.
Toronto police showing off the promising results of Project Community Space today, the 15-week initiative meant to help curb gun violence in our city. 680's Mark Douglas joins us from police headquarters with those details.
The shootings increased, so we had to adapt to that.
This was a 15-week blitz of intelligence-based policing in high-risk neighborhoods. It had everything from higher police visibility to gang prevention town hall meetings. Superintendent Steve Watts says despite a peak in gun violence in Toronto over the same 15 weeks, this project was not a failure.
Our response was successful. I can speak to the solve rates of the shootings that occurred during that time frame were significantly higher than prior.
About 250 guns taken off the streets,
only means
about
somebody got
450
sent to
people
court.
arrested,
Doesn't mean
and
they got
of
convicted
those,
or
about
anything.
100 suspects were already out on bail on a firearm offense. Outside police headquarters, I'm Mark Douglas.
A murder charge has been dropped against one of two teens accused of killing a 14-year-old Hamilton boy in October. But as we hear from 680 Charlene Close, it doesn't mean he's in the clear. Devin Brackey Selvey was stabbed to death in early October over the noon hour outside Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School. His mother saw it happen. Police arrested 18 and 14-year-old brothers shortly after Devin was killed, but said at the time they thought the 14-year-old was the one with the knife. The Crown has withdrawn the first-degree murder charge against the 18-year-old. He now faces new charges of assault with a weapon, administering a noxious substance, and possession of a prohibited weapon. I'm Charlene Close.
It was a frightening night for the OHL and the Niagara Ice Dogs when their goalie was rushed to the hospital after a freak incident on the ice. Lindsay Dunn from City News spoke with the team's head coach on the players' road to recovery.
Here goes Gruden.
During Thursday night's game, a London Knights player collided with Ice Dogs goalie Tucker Tynan 40 seconds into the second period. He had to be taken off the ice in a stretcher and was taken to hospital where he had to get emergency surgery.
He's stable now, thankfully. It's no longer considered life-threatening, which obviously is by far the most important thing. There was a point in time last night where it was an option that he may have died on the ice due to loss of blood.
Although it was a frightening and scary incident, the team doesn't believe it was because of a lack of equipment or safety precautions.
The OHL, along with the Niagara Ice Dogs, have announced that they've postponed their games this weekend that were against Peterborough and Ottawa. Lindsay Dunn, City News, Toronto.
In 30 seconds, we'll take a look at your prices at the pumps. 680 News Time, 9:39.
Hey, your car looks really sparkling clean.
Thanks. I just finished washing it.
It's a pity about that snowstorm that's coming tonight.
Seriously?
Winter can be hard on your vehicle, but taking good care of your pride and joy can be rewarding. Right now, get 100.
Fuck Project Community Space. What is community space? Like, what the fuck? Gun violence continues to rise during 15-week Toronto police aim to curb it. 15 week. You could at least put a S. 15-week. I can't believe I just read that. Despite a $4.5 million police project aimed at project, that's a good word to put there, aimed at reducing Toronto's spiking levels of gun violence. The city has continued to see a record number of shootings, including the highest number of people killed or injured by guns within the last 15 years. Toronto, but it's still less than 30 years ago. But never mind. Toronto police released the violent crime is down regardless. Toronto police released the results Friday of their 15-week initiative, Project Community Space, funded by all three levels of government and launched in August in the wake of rising numbers of shootings and victims. Superintendent Steve Watts from the Force's Organized Crime Enforcement Unit said the project allowed police to have increased visibility in, quote, high-risk areas, end quote, led to greater monitoring of bail compliance and saw 463 arrests and the seizure of 247 firearms. Acknowledging the project did not result in a reduction in shootings, Watts nonetheless said the enforcement led to a, quote, unquote, significantly higher solve rate for shootings, quote, so that's a different aspect to just the total number of shootings, end quote. But that solve rate doesn't apply to these shootings. It applies to the ones from before when you catch up to the guy and then you send him to court. That's so that he declined to provide the solve rate numbers, saying he would let Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders release them. You tell them. Quote, it's always discouraging when someone gets shot. Well, it depends who gets shot. Watts told reporters at a news conference Friday afternoon when asked if he was disheartened by the high number of shootings during Project Community Space. I don't care if it's one shooting a month or if it's 15 shootings a month. That is a strange thing to say. It's always disheartening. It's always discouraging when someone gets shot. I don't care if it's one shooting a month. If it's okay, see, they put a whole bunch of words between there to fuck that up. According to Toronto Police data, the 15-week period when Project Community Space was active from August 15th to November 28th saw the highest number of people shot, 111, compared to the same 15-week period in any year since 2004. Wow. It's interesting because 2004 wasn't the peak back then, so which means that there was like a big concentration in this part of the year, which is strange because it's so cold. I guess everybody's trying to clean up loose ends before the winter, right? The Toronto Police Board issued a statement Friday, quote unquote, applauding the results of the initiative. Asked by the Star whether the board was concerned there was no reduction in the number of shootings, Police Board Chair Jim Hart stressed that the project, quote, yielded positive results in the number of guns seized, the number of arrests made, and the number of bail compliance checks conducted. While it is never easy to measure what has been prevented, yeah, it is. You didn't prevent shit. It is clear the project has made us safer. How the fuck do you figure? Of course, it is the responsibility of many stakeholders, the service included, to work together to drive down the number of shootings, Hart said in an email. Since its launch, the project has been criticized by researchers and community advocates as another example of politicians plugging money into policing in response to gun violence instead of addressing its root issues. You need an apostrophe there. The municipal, provincial, and federal governments each put $1.5 million towards the project. I don't know how you say this. Nia Singh, a Toronto criminal lawyer and community advocate, said more police and stiffer sentences, quote, will not change the mindsets of people who have picked up guns, end quote. What they need is community, educational, and social support, he said. What about the people driving them to have to pull those guns out and use them? Quote, I'm very disappointed, first of all, that $4.5 million was just spent on resources which just ended up having shootings go up when that $4.5 million could have gone into the community and you could almost guarantee that shootings would go down, Singh said in an interview Friday. Project Community Space was intended to last 11 weeks, but in late October, Saunders announced the extension of the program, quote, until further notice while we work to address gun violence in the city, end quote. Experiencing, It's not the end quote. Experiencing, quote, the highest number of shootings recorded to date in Toronto, we will keep the extended resources in place at this time, Saunders said in an August 31st statement. Friday's news conference came just hours after a 16-year-old boy was seriously injured in one of 4 shootings Thursday night, all occurring within a 1-hour period. Really? Okay, hold on. Okay. On Wednesday, Jeremy Vincent Urbina, 22, was fatally shot near Leslie Street and Finch Avenue East, becoming the city's 67th homicide this year. That's less than 80-something, and fucking, that's what it was back in the day with less people here, half as many people here, so I think you people are tripping. Throughout 2019, gun violence has been at record levels in Toronto. As of this week, more than 270 people had been killed or wounded in shootings this year, dozens more than the highest year-end total in police data that go back to 2004. As of Monday, the combined total of injuries and deaths this year is up 28% from the same date in 2018, which set the city's record for the most homicides in a single year. It's up? Okay, because that included 10 people with the Cube Van guy, the U-Haul truck, whatever the fuck he had. Fewer people have been killed by guns so far in 2019, however, including Wednesday's fatal shooting. 40 people have been fatally shot so far this year, down from 47 by December 9th, 2018. Singh says that phenomenon, a higher number of shootings but lower death count, is caused by young people indiscriminately shooting off firearms, not at individuals but at whole neighborhoods because of area-related beefs. Like I said, it's not the total number out here. It's the fucking randomness of it, eh? It's fucking totally random up in this shit. Okay. Quote, first we need conflict resolution, then we need to get into why these kids are doing this, Singh said. If money comes in to communities, the ripple effect would be enormous, but the money keeps going to the same pockets, to the police, to the courts, not to the people most affected, he said. According to the results released by Toronto Police, Project Community Space saw police arrest 97 people who were out on bail for firearm-related charges. How many of them were released again? Oh, apparently a whole bunch, because it says 16 were charged with a new firearm offense. So what were the rest of them charged with? The remaining 81 were charged with other offenses, police said, including robbery, assault with a weapon, or sexual assault. If it's not related to the first charge, they might make bail again. Of the 463 arrests police made during the project period, 317, or 28%, yeah, that's what I said, of the 1,145 charges laid were related to firearms. Watts said Saunders will be providing further information about the development of a, quote, sustainable and more robust strategy to address gun violence, end quote, that will be paid for through the reallocation of existing service funds. So you're not going to have that 4.5 million, but you're going to, like, where's the money? What are you going to be cutting back on? They say they issued like 100,000 less tickets over the last few years than they used to. And that's revenue. So if they're cutting resources from one place, they're obviously cutting from there at least. Where are they getting the money from? It doesn't make sense to me what they're doing.
23 states. The tally of those who have died so far this season now reaching 1,300 nationwide. The CDC estimates there have been at least 2.6 million flu illnesses and 23,000 hospitalizations to date. Federal health workers urging people to get their flu shots, especially younger children and seniors. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
The new Democrats are calling on the Ford government to exempt Sikh paramedics from having to wear a specific respirator that would be impeded by long beards. MPP Guratan Singh says a recent change in regulations means a new respirator doesn't work properly for Sikh paramedics who keep their beards and hair uncut. He says the previous helmet and respirator combination did not have the same issue. The call for action comes after a Hamilton paramedic was no longer allowed to work in the field because of the regulation.
So why can't he just use the old one? How fucking bad would that be?
The Great Wall of China is not visible from space.
That's a misconception.
Now I gotta
Another
see pictures.
misconception is that Lazy Boy is all recliners. Yes, Lazy Boy has the most comfortable recliners, but also sofas, sectionals, love seats, fashionable Lazy Boy furniture and accessories for your living room, bedroom, and dining room. And designers who will consult in your home for free. The Great Wall isn't visible from space. And Lazy Boy is not all recliners. Surprise, it's Lazy Boy.
Hey, you're that famous actress. You must travel
longer.
so much. What's the best site for hotel deals?
Hilton.com.
No. One with crazy savings.
Hilton.com. With their price match guarantee, if you find a better rate, they match it and take 25% off.
Oh, one with lots of options.
Hilton.com has 16 top hotel brands. Hampton, Hilton Garden Inn, Waldorf Astoria.
Hilton.com. You should totally do their commercial.
Expect better. Expect Hilton.
You're good.
I know, thank you.
Applicable terms and conditions at Hilton.com.
It's time 9:51 with a look at the drive. Here's Kyle Hawkins.
This report brought to you by Rogers Wireless. We now have 2 delays on the highways. Things are getting quite heavy on the westbound 401 west of Brimley over towards Kennedy. As you head into a construction zone, 2 right lanes are blocked. And this is one of those stretches where there's only 3 lanes through this section of the express lanes to West 401. Getting really jammed up as only the left lane is open for a stretch. The official length of this construction zone is from west of Brimley to approaching Warden, but the heavy spot is approaching Brimley to Kennedy. Once you get past Kennedy, that's where your speeds start to improve. If you're on the 400 northbound, still a bit slow. Major Mackenzie up towards Teston Road as you enter a construction zone. The right lane is blocked here for maintenance. So it's the volume continues to improve, but it is still a bit slow just entering that construction zone. We have on the eastbound 401, the transfer into the collectors at Meadowvale closed for construction, and also had debris reported on the eastbound QEW by Huron, Ontario. The tires sort of sticking into the left lane. MTO should have been there by now. I'm sure it's gone. We've got construction off the highways through Parkside at the Lakeshore. Only one direction on Parkside being allowed through at a time. They're doing bridge work, it looks like, underneath the Gardners. So it's slow both directions on Parkside at the Lakeshore, especially southbound as you travel through this area. Right now, visit Rogers for exclusive in-store offers and a chance to win one of 9 Samsung Grand Prizes. Contest ends December 18th. Your next report at 10:01 with the extended forecast. Here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Drizzle switching to rain for Saturday, 8 to 15 millimeters, and winds start picking up out of the northwest. We'll be gusting 60 to 70 kilometers per hour by Saturday night. Now, the high is 3 degrees in the afternoon, but as we start to fall late in the day, temperature-wise, we'll start mixing in some wet snow, and especially keeping an eye on the north and east ends of the GTA for a few centimeters of accumulation. That will end Saturday night, and then Sunday, lake effect snow possible. So it'll be sun and then flurries heavy at times. And again, it's going to be north and east ends of the city watching for the greatest risk for that lake effect snow. Still gusty out of the northwest. Temperatures falling from 0 down to -3. Monday, overcast to start. Could see some snow late in the day, which could impact that drive home. A couple of models still have this system missing us, but again, potentially some snow late day Monday with a high of -1. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of 1 degree.
Downtown Toronto, partly cloudy and 4 degrees. At Pearson Airport this hour, partly cloudy and 3.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Walmart.
Walmart's rolling back prices on thousands of items from toys to electronics, including brand names like Keurig, KitchenAid, Hot Wheels, and Barbie. Hurry, the rollback event is on now at Walmart.
The hottest show from Miami Beach is coming to Fallsview Casino. Conga, live February 4th to 10th at Niagara Fallsview Casino. With a huge cast of dancers and singers, plus a rock and salsa band, this full-scale production weaves its way through some of the greatest dance hits of all time. Visit FallsviewCasinoResort.com for tickets. Conga, live February 4th to 10th at Niagara Fallsview Casino. Extreme weather.
Essential information.
Anytime a storm hits the GTA, the 680 News Extreme Weather Center is activated with the latest road conditions, weather updates,
And whether school is open or closed.
When you need to know, the 680 News Extreme Weather Center has you covered.
Brought to you by Air Transat. Vacation is calling. And Subaru. Confidence in motion.
Exclusively on 680 News and 680news.com.
A clerical error by her bank made a Dallas woman a millionaire for a day. When Ruth Balloon checked her bank account earlier this week, it had some extra money in it. $37 million extra, to be exact. Balloon knew almost immediately it was too good to be true. When she called the bank, she was informed the extra money wasn't a Christmas miracle, but a mistake. The bank apologized and took the money back.
Oh, you should have made like a huge withdrawal or something, man.
Mistake.
It'd be nice to see your savings inflated like that.
Mistake. Would you have said anything? I just like hopefully the bank.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of. I plead the fifth.
Exactly. Coming up in a minute's time, we'll have the business report.
680 News Time, 9:55.
Look at my perfect parking job. Equidistant left and right, wheels straight as an arrow. I should post it. Hashtag perfect park.
Or hashtag enhanced park assist.
Or hashtag shh.
Get the SUV built with features that help make your life easier. The Ford Escape with available enhanced active park assist. And now during the Ford year-end event, get up to $6,000 in rebates on select new 2019 Escape models. Get the SUV built to get you out there. Visit your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
There's something truly beautiful about getting something in an instant. And until January 9th, Bosch and Appliance Canada are offering instant rebates of up to $2,300 on select Bosch appliance packages. Plus, an added $500 in added rebates on kitchen packages. Find even more instant rebates of 25% up to $500 with the Ontario Energy Star Rebate Program, paid for by the Government of Canada. See in store for details. Visit ApplianceCanada.com for a location near you in Toronto, Vaughan, or Mississauga.
Time 9:56.
Now, with the business report, here's Richard Southern.
Good evening, happy Friday. Prime Minister Trudeau has reportedly asked his finance minister, Bill Morneau, to take another look at the mortgage stress test rules. This according to the Financial Post. Reviewing the tests, which by the way have been criticized for dragging down the market some, wasn't among the promises made by the Liberals during the past election campaign. The real estate industry, though, has not been happy with the stress tests, arguing that they don't account for an uptick in interest rates. Of course, the Liberals would need support from other parties to pass any change to the legislation. All right, meantime, here in North America, we don't always put our executives in jail when they've done something wrong. Sometimes they get a promotion, but that's certainly not the case in South Korea, as we hear from TD Bank's Anthony Cohen.
Samsung vice president received a jail term in South Korea over union busting, and a VP at Samsung was sentenced to a 16-month jail term in South Korea. He's accused of attempting to break up a labor union, according to local reports. He's also accused of surveilling union members and their families illegally and collecting personal information on them. And overall trade union participation rate in South Korea is around 10%, which is similar to the U.S., but it's among the lowest among the democratic free market countries. So interesting news today.
Right on to the markets where the TSX enjoyed a winning Friday and a winning week. And Bay Street benchmark was up 56 points today, 17,003. Royal Bank and Bank of Montreal both gained $1 and a record finish for CP Rail, above $331. Price of gold up to $1,480 the ounce. On Wall Street, the Dow gaining just 3 points to 28,135. S&P up 1, Nasdaq up 17, and the Canadian dollar up to 75.95 cents US. This is 680 News.
The weather definitely does have a part to play. You know, we do see more deaths on the streets during the winter months. People trying to stay warm and not necessarily in the safest situations. And when they see the Salvation Army, they know that they're going to get help. You know, through working with us, the goal is that they will come to know hope.
On the coldest nights, Bradley Harris is there because everyone needs an army. Donate now at salvationarmy.ca or call 1-800-SAL-ARMY.
You're too depressed to work, and your insurance company ignores your doctor's opinion and denies your long-term disability claim. Sound familiar? My name is Aaron Waxman, and if your disability claim has been denied for any reason, call me at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, my team of lawyers only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
Smart people with smart speakers always listen to.
Hey Google, play 680 News. Playing 680 News. Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart. Who's calling the shop this flu season? You are. Help protect your family with a flu shot in your local Walmart pharmacy. Subject to availability. No appointment necessary. Walmart Pharmacy, partnered with Apotex.
In Mississauga, 3 degrees, partly cloudy sky. Oshawa, 3 degrees, overcast sky there. Richmond Hill, 1 degree, partly cloudy. Oakville, 2 degrees, mostly cloudy. And in Newmarket, 1 degree, partly cloudy. Uxbridge, 1 degree with some light snow there. This is CFTR 680 News Time. At the sound of the tone will be 10 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie.
Good evening. This is Friday, the 13th of December.
Here's some breaking news this hour.
What the fuck is that?
Secondary school teachers planning yet another one-day walkout next week.
Frustrating, disappointing.
The union and the government still disagreeing over what the real contract sticking points are.
A man is recovering from burns in hospital tonight after a house fire near Kennedy and Bavard in Brampton.
The cost to ride the Red Rocket could be on its way up in 2020. Another proposed fare hike is in the works.
Another honor to add on to the Raptors' incredible year.
You play sports for only one reason, to win.
The team awarded the Nation Builder of the Year by the Empire Club of Canada.
The Maple Leafs make a small move ahead of their game against
That's all I can remember that guy saying.
It's a light night of action in the NHL. Sports at 15.
Financial trouble perhaps inside the Vatican. We'll let you know what the Wall Street Journal is reporting about the Catholic Church. TSX up 56 points, capping off a winning week for Bay Street. Business at 20.
Why is that
Time
down
for
there?
traffic and weather together on the one. So the traffic center we go. We say good evening, Michael Ranger.
Good evening, Scott. This report brought to you by the Kellogg Schulich Executive MBA. We've got some delays right now, westbound 401 heading through Scarborough. So construction in the express starts west of Brimley, and the delays are to west of Kennedy. They're working in the 2 right lanes there. That's causing some pretty heavy delays right now. Good news is the collector lanes are moving fine, so you can get yourself into the collectors before that. You'll miss the delays in the westbound 401 express. That's it for delays on the 401 right now. There is some more construction in the express and Allen in the left lane, not causing any problems right now. Westbound Eglinton ramp to the westbound 401 road work happening there in the left lane. Again, no delays. On the side of the highway, eastbound 401, the Meadowvale transfer to the collectors, that is closed for road work. We did have some delays northbound 400. Still a little bit slow from north of Major Mackenzie to north of Teston, where crews are working in the 2 right lanes, but it looks like that's starting to get back up to speed now. On the side of the highway, southbound 400, road work at Dunlop in the left lane, and then again at Teston. Neither of those spots causing delays right now. DVP's up to speed in both directions, so is the Gardner Expressway, eastbound and westbound. We don't have any delays. We do have an issue on city streets. Parkside Drive right now, just north of Lakeshore. They're doing construction right where the road goes underneath the Gardner. They're only letting a single direction through at a time, so that's causing some minor delays in both directions there. Take your career to the next level with the Kellogg Schulich Executive MBA, ranked number 1 in Canada by the Financial Times of London and The Economist. Call 416-736-5486. Your next report is at 10:11. Now with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsay.
Drizzle overnight tonight here in the GTA, although a slight risk of freezing drizzle up over higher elevations to the north, and then that'll turn into straight up rainfall Saturday, 8 to 15 millimeters. Staying mainly as rain downtown, but we'll likely start mixing in some wet snow through the late afternoon and into the evening. Even a couple of centimeters of slushy accumulation possible north and east. You know who you are, York Durham. 3 degrees the daytime high. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of 1 degree.
And we're sitting at 5 degrees downtown Toronto with a partly cloudy sky. On the Pearson Airport, 3 degrees. And mostly cloudy. 680 News Time, 10:03.
It's another midweek day off for teens across the province. A one-day walk-off being planned by public high school teachers for next Wednesday as talks with the province remain frozen.
With more on the negotiations between the union and the province, we're joined by 680 News reporter Caitlin Lee. Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation President Harvey Bischoff says none of his members want to take job action for the 3rd time in 3 weeks.
Frustrating, disappointing would characterize it as well. I mean, we haven't had a single new proposal from the government in weeks.
He says they continue to fight against e-learning and large class sizes. While the education minister's office says the true sticking point is compensation.
People who suffer here are our students, our kids. Predictability for families, quite frankly, is unacceptable.
The one-day strike will impact 10 different school boards, including those in York and Halton regions. Several French schools will also be affected, but not the Toronto District School Board this time around. You can head to 680news.com for more information. I'm Caitlin Lee.
One man is in hospital tonight after a house fire in Brampton. Emergency crews called to the house at Bologna Drive in Salem Court. That's near Kennedy and Beauvais at around 8 o'clock this evening. Constable Bancroft Wright tells 680 News the house has suffered significant damage.
I know that majority of the basement, which is where the fire started, is destroyed.
The victim suffered minor burns. No word yet on the cause of the fire.
The TTC wants to increase some fares by 10 cents next year. In a report released today, the proposed fare increase would be effective on March 1st of 2020. Adult cash fares would not change, but adult Presto card fares would increase to $3.20. Senior and youth Presto fares would also increase 10 cents across the board, while a monthly adult Presto pass would spike by $5. The TTC hopes to raise about $31 million through the fare hike. City Council will have the final say.
So what else is in the TTC's proposed 2020 budget? Well, it includes the hiring of an additional 50 transit enforcement officers, specifically to crack down on fare evaders. It also includes 124 more operators for the system's busiest routes. Mayor John Tory has done a deep dive of the budget and says for the first time, it includes funding for the $1.5 billion Young Bloor Station expansion. Tory says the TTC has also found a way to save $29 million without affecting service.
With Ontario deciding to scrap
these people keep saying they got money from somewhere that they can't tell us where it came from, but don't worry, we can take care of it.
Amin from City News is speaking with cannabis lawyer Jack Lloyd about this new merit-based system.
In the first week of January, the Alcohol and Gaming Commission will begin accepting applications for retail operator licenses, issuing up to 20 authorizations a month in cities that have opted in.
Really positive about this legislation is it's encouraging people to make legal applications to open legal storefronts in Ontario. And that's huge. It's precisely what the market wanted, and it's going to really help to achieve the goals of cannabis legalization in the first place.
The market this far has dictated that products at unlicensed stores are better, but this merit-based application system will bring balance, creating more legal storefronts and competition. I'm Faiza Amin for City News.
New air rules coming into effect this weekend. 680's Richard Southern with what you need to know.
Never mind those vouchers for food that the airlines used to hand out. In the event of some delays, you'll be entitled now to cold, hard cash. Under this new law, a delay of 3 to 6 hours will see you paid $400 by the airline. 6 to 9 hour delay, $700, and anything 9 hours or more, you're entitled to $1,000. Jeff Katzbrick, though, with the Alberta Motor Association, says there are some loopholes here.
The most notable gap that exists is, in fact, around protections on mechanical delays. The Canadian Bill of Rights does not actually include protections around mechanical delays, which does represent a loophole that we need to be very mindful of and monitor as we go forward.
The new law also stipulates that children under the age of 5 must be seated next to their parents. I'm Richard Southern.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has issued marching orders to his cabinet. Finance Minister Bill Morneau has announced he will present a fiscal update on Monday. The Conservatives have been clamoring for one since Parliament resumed after the fall election. All of Trudeau's letters to ministers included a reminder to cooperate with opposition parties and listen to provincial leaders.
Ford issuing a vast recall of pickup trucks right across North America.
Ford is recalling certain 2017 through 19 Super Duty Super Crew pickups with carpet flooring because that carpet can catch fire after a crash. The problem involves a seatbelt pretensioner, the mechanism that locks down the seatbelt in the crash. When it deploys, Ford says it can generate sparks and ignite the carpet and then spread. Ford says there has been one fire. Nobody has been injured. Ford says dealers will fix the issue. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll see if gas prices are making a move later tonight.
680 News Time, 10:09.
Weather.
It's all about the numbers. And if we're off by more than 3 degrees,
You can win our cash jackpot.
a number that continues to grow.
Enter at 680news.com.
Okay, stop. For the best appliance deal ever, come into Gomez today. You'll save up to 25% on all Eco appliances. Yep, that's 25% off on top of manufacturer rebates and promotions. Pricing on most Bosch dishwashers are lower.
This shit up. Toronto couple baffled after their vehicle was stolen for the third time. Danny Goulis has had 2 different vehicles stolen from his North Toronto driveway. So for a few years now, the theft rates in Toronto everywhere are down like crazy because all this electronic shit. But we used to be, I guess we might still be, the grand theft capital, the auto theft capital of North America. So I think it's funny that it's GTA, Greater Toronto Area. I always laughed at that. They used to offer us $3,000 when we were little kids for any Jeep Grand Cherokee or Jeep Cherokee, the same. They didn't care. It was $3,000 flat. So some people did it by themselves and kept all the money, and some people did it as a pair, split the money. And fucking Danny Goulis has come to know his way around an insurance claim. That's because somehow thieves have managed to steal his vehicle from the driveway of his North Toronto home on 3 separate occasions. He has even had the same SUV stolen twice. It's a situation that has left Goulis and his wife, Kathleen Moss, baffled and frustrated. Quote, obviously they have some sort of way of doing it, some sort of technique, Goulis said. To take a car like this with no recourse and it's that easy, I think there's a problem there. The latest theft happened early Wednesday morning at the couple's home in the Lawrence Park area. Goulis was having his coffee and was going upstairs to get ready for work, and that's when he noticed his SUV was nowhere to be seen. I just thought, oh no, oh, not again. He checked his security tapes, and sure enough, they always call them tapes, eh? I'm taping you. There's no tape no more. He checked his security tapes, and sure enough, someone could be seen hunched by the side of his 2017 Lexus 570 SUV. Well, there's your problem right there, buddy. Just after 3 a.m. Within 9 minutes, the thief had managed to get into the car, disable the steering wheel club, and drive off, he said. This is Toronto. Not, oh, it took 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. Within 9 minutes. Within 9 minutes means 8 and something change minutes, bro. Quote, he opened the door, no key, no broken window, nothing, Moss said. This was the second time this vehicle was stolen. The exact same thing happened in mid-April. Police eventually found it in a shipping crate in Montreal about a month later. Montreal, eh? No organized crime up there, eh? Steve Key, spokesperson for the Insurance Bureau of Canada, told CBC News vehicles can be stolen for anything from joyrides to shipped out of country and chopped up for parts. Quote, thieves are going to look for patterns. They're going to look for the availability to let them to do that, he said. It's unfortunate that someone would have a vehicle stolen twice. That's rare. It's not that rare, bro. That's rare. Well, there's 2 sides to it. It happens quite frequently, considering the fact that most of the vehicles stolen here get shipped overseas. So fucking, there is no recovering them. You don't get it back to get stolen twice, but it happens quite a bit here in spite of that. That's terrible. It's terrible for these people to have to go through that. In an email earlier this year, Toronto police said they believe Goulis was the victim of an electronic car theft, specifically a relay theft. CBC Toronto reported on the new electronic theft methods late last year, and there's a link, and yes they did, because the video is on here somewhere, describing how thieves can use high-tech gadgets to relay fob signals, even from inside your home, to a device outside, or override a vehicle's onboard diagnostic system to steal it without ever having to access the keys. Toronto police said last year that investigators had seen a 90% jump in the electronic theft of luxury vehicles across the city from December 2017 to 2018. In 53 Division, where Goulis is located, thefts were up 240%. It's friggin' Yonge and Eglinton and shit. An industry-wide issue. Constable Carolyn DeCloet wasn't able to provide updated statistics Thursday, but said it's something 53 Division is still dealing with, as there tend to be higher-end cars in the area. Yeah, a rich area. And they have 2 or 3 of these motherfuckers, too. That, coupled with a more traditional car theft in 2013, where thieves broke into Goulis' home, swiped the keys, and drove off with another car, has them very frustrated. Yeah, that's... In that time period there was a whole bunch of the thefts that were happening where people were breaking into a house, taking the keys, and then stealing the car. Because when we were kids, we didn't do that. We knew better. You don't break into somebody's house and you don't steal something from a person. The car is unattended. If you do a carjacking, you get all sorts of time. You steal a car, you get caught. It's not nearly as bad. You break into a house and someone's in the house. That's a fucking home invasion. We never did shit like that. Well, me and my friends knew better than to do shit like that. A lot of people did it. But Goulas told CBC News that he's convinced there's an issue with Lexus's fob system. You're convinced? I think they know that. Quote, they're so organized. Obviously, they have some way of getting into the car, he said. Toyota spokesperson Michael Boolean, which also owns Lexus, thank you, told CBC News in an email that auto theft is an quote-unquote industry-wide issue, and certain vehicles are in higher demand than others. Quote, our industry has been working closely with the Canadian insurance industry and police authorities across Canada to assist with investigations related to vehicle theft, Boolean said. Goulas said after his last theft, Lexus told him, this is fucking ridiculous. Lexus told him to use a Faraday shield, which is an enclosure used to block electronic signals. He said he was also told to move his keys away from the front door. This is your fault. It's not their fault. It's your fault. You didn't shield. You didn't put the keys in a box. I got the keys on my pocket. What the fuck? In response, he moved his keys toward the back of the house and away from his vehicle and used a Christmas cookie tin as a makeshift Faraday box. Don't worry about those fucking family photos on hard drives and your keys. Clearly, that didn't do the trick. Now he and his wife are constantly feeling a little wary, he said. You really feel like you're worrying about everything all the time here now. We got another one of these. Fucking.
12 minutes to go in the middle frame. Raptors have the night off. They will host Brooklyn tomorrow. Fred VanVleet doubtful with a knee injury. At the President's Cup in Australia, Day 3 foursome action underway. The Internationals lead the Americans 9-5, while the Mississauga Steelheads doubled up the North Bay Battalion 4-2. Sports at 15 and 45, past every hour or anytime on the home of Timmins and now on radio and TV. Sportsnet 590 The Fan. 680 News Time, 10:16.
Making your smart speaker even smarter.
Hey Google, play 680 News.
Playing 680 News.
I've got to buy new equipment for my business.
I want to increase my online sales. I wish I could expand my team.
I want to see my business move
forward.
Things can move fast when you're in business. And at BDC, we understand entrepreneurs. With our 100% online small business loan, you could quickly make your project a reality. Go to bdc.ca/online loan.
If I had started reading the second one, I'd be halfway through it now.
48 hours of approval. Apply now at bdc.ca/online loan. Rexall can help with holiday shopping. I haven't even started my holiday shopping. You know, Rexall has great holiday gift sets, and you'll get 20 bonus air miles after spending $15 on them. I checked everyone off my list. I don't even have a list yet. I'll help you out with that. Here. This is just your name on a piece of paper. Gotta start somewhere. Get 20 bonus air miles for spending $15 or more on select holiday gift sets, including cosmetics, bath, skincare, and more. Offer ends December 19th. Visit Rexall.ca for details.
You're like a cheesy joke. Like, I didn't get that joke.
680 News Time, 10:18.
A first-degree murder charge against one of the two teens accused of killing a 14-year-old in Hamilton back in October has been dropped. However, he is still facing charges in the case. 680's Charmaine Close with the latest.
14-year-old Devin Brackey Selby was stabbed to death on October 7th outside Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School in Hamilton. Police arrested two brothers, 18 and 14 years old. They were both charged with first-degree murder, but the Crown has now withdrawn that count against the older brother. Doesn't end there, though. The 18-year-old is now facing 3 new charges, including assault with a weapon. He's been released on bail. When Hamilton police arrested the pair, they said they believed the younger brother was the one who stabbed Devin. I'm Charmaine Close.
The Empire Club of Canada giving the Toronto Raptors quite a big honor, as we hear from 680's Mohamed Qureshi. The team has been
first annual
Nation Builder of the Year.
When you think back to how the Raptors championship run united this country, with Jurassic Park popping up in seemingly every town and city from coast to coast to coast. So it makes perfect sense that the Empire Club of Canada would name the team as its first ever Nation Builder of the Year. Team President Masai Ujiri says we need to lead by example.
We in Canada have to teach the rest of the world. And starting from here, we have to be bigger, okay? We have to include, we have to be progressive, and we have to grow. And we have to teach the rest of the world to be good people, just like we are.
We the North. At the Carlu, I'm Melvin Qureshi.
Oscar-nominated actor Danny Aiello has died at the age of 86. A statement from his representative saying Aiello died last night after a brief illness. Although best known for his appearances in movies like Moonstruck and Do the Right Thing, pop music fans may know him as the man who played Madonna's dad in her 1986 video for Papa Don't Preach. Coming up in 60 seconds, a check on traffic and your extended forecast.
6 City News Time, 10:20.
Wow.
Happy holidays, everyone! It's Megan, Chief Play Officer at Toys R Us. Have you ever seen 20,000 toys all in one place? At Toys R Us, you'll find anything and everything that kids like me could wish for. Right now, you can buy one, get one, 50% off on all LOL surprise.
Let's try that again. This is last year, December 13th, 2018. Thieves stole 4,000 plus cars in Toronto last year, shipped luxury vehicles overseas. There's been a dramatic increase in the number of automobiles being stolen across the GTA, but both police and the Insurance Bureau of Canada, IBC, say owners are making it too easy for thieves to make off with their vehicles. These things got alarms and GPS and fucking, they're supposed to like report themselves stolen and shit. On Tuesday, the IBC, a national association that represents Canada's private auto insurers, reported auto theft is up 6% across the country in its annual report looking at the country's most frequently stolen vehicles. Now, what pisses them off is these cars are going overseas. So even if the cops in the other country find the car and put it somewhere in an impound lot, no one's going to pay to bring it back. Nobody's going to pay the shipping to bring that shit back. They have to pay out to the fucking person who lost their car every fucking time when that happens. It's becoming a pandemic in our city. Detective Sergeant Daniel Sabadix. Yeah, okay. Quote, a 53 division, which is part of Central District. The fuck is Central District? It's part of 5 District, actually. These motherfuckers make shit up as they go. We've noticed year to date a 92% increase in stolen autos. Remember, that's last year. So, but I think they just gave us last year's numbers just now, too, right? In the other article. It's becoming a pandemic in our city, Toronto Police Detective Sergeant Daniel Sabadix said at a news conference Thursday. Quote, the city itself is experiencing a 29% increase in the theft of autos. What that boils down to is about 1,000 more stolen autos this year to date, than last year, up from 3,200 to 4,200. Sabadix said Honda and Toyota are the 2 most popular makes among thieves across Toronto. That and the F-Series, right? The Honda Civic, the F-Series. They don't do the Jeep Cherokee thing no more because they got those Mercedes-Benz keys. That's what happened in like 98, 99 when they merged. Whatever the fuck they merged, they fucking, all the Jeeps got Mercedes-Benz keys. They didn't say Mercedes on them, but that's what it was. They got that technology and they stopped being able to steal them so easy. Because the ignition switch, they never fixed that. They just changed the fucking way the key worked. In the Central and North Central districts, from Bloor Street north to Steeles Avenue and the Don River west to Bathurst Street, police found there was an increase in thefts of luxury autos. Quote, we found that the top 4 luxury autos that were driving these numbers up were Lexus, Toyota, Mercedes, and Land Rover, Sabadix said. They're worth like $100,000 a piece. Yeah, that's like better than fucking, if you get your hands on a kilo of Coke, you still got to sell it, eh? These here, you just make the one sale and you're done, right? Quote, in Central District, we had a 240% increase year to date from last year. In North Central District, Lawrence to Steeles, 45% increase, and across Toronto for these 4 makes, a 90% increase. Thieves very sophisticated. Investigators have found that the majority of the vehicles were stolen by an electronic override. In some instances, police say the thieves clone the key fob itself, then enter the vehicle and drive it away with a newly programmed fob, which does not involve access to your key. That's stupid. They're replacing the key just like the dealer would. They don't need your key to do that. So the insurance company is just dicking you around. That looks fucked up. Another electronic override method is accessing the car's onboard diagnostic port using a... That's the same thing, man. Using a computer... Accessing the car's onboard diagnostic port using a computer brought to the scene of the theft. Maybe I don't understand what they're talking about, but I thought that was the same thing. The criminals program a new fob or a new key and use it to steal the car. And I thought that's what cloning a key fob was. So, the IBC has released certain recommendations to help auto owners protect themselves against theft. But Sabadix said there are some very simple fixes ranging in price from $80 to $200 that could serve as a deterrent to car thieves. These include a steering wheel club, a wheel boot chock. No shit, it says that. You're supposed to put your own fucking boot on your car, right? OBD port locks. And there could be like a bunch of those ports on your fucking car. Right? Aftermarket ignition kill switch. Your car already has one, right? That's what the fucking intelligent key is for. Intelligent radio frequency identification immobilizer. That's what's built in. Aftermarket alarm systems, again, built into the car. Additionally, Sabadix is urging people who own garages to use them. Quote, park it in a garage. If you have a garage, clear it of clutter and use it. Then he says, out of sight, out of mind, he said. Well, that's not true, because they're just going to figure out who's parking what in what garage, you moron.